Well, hello, good evening, everybody. It's Andrew from How to Sell Online. I hope you're all well this evening. Could somebody just pop a little note in the chat box just to say that you can hear me? That would be great, just so that I know that I am up and running and live. Everything is working here at this end. I've got lots of lights and things like that to tell me that I am online and live, so you should be able to hear me. There we go. I've just realized I hadn't enabled the chat box. So if that is that that is okay now, if you're able to just hit that chat box, that would be great. Now, this is a training evening this evening, so from the point of view of the actual webinar itself, we are looking at how we can source some stock and where we can source it from, and what it is you can or cannot do with it. Right, thank you very much, Nick. Good to know that I've got you in the background. Nick is doing the back-end moderating, so that actually will work. And anybody else that can hear me and can just put a hello in the chat box, that'd be good. I know we've got one. I'd just like to get a couple more. That would be great. Okay, so I'm away and live. I'm going to move forward. Now, before we go on any further, just some very quick news for some of you. Just to let you know that we have been making some major changes. As you know, I'm living and working from France at the moment, and I've come over here so that I can do some very focused work on moving things forward. And as we stand at the moment, the membership site that you currently have access to, that membership site will be disappearing soon, and you will be able to have a new link coming through to you. That link will come through. Thank you very much. Good to see you there, Andrew. Thank you. That new website that new membership site should go online in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I have a team of people in the Philippines working on it at the moment. We're currently uploading approximately 150 videos to it, which will be really exciting. We've got a lot of other new stuff going on, and it's a very interactive site. Up until now, for those of you that are into the techie side of it, we've been using something called Optimized Press Members 2, which I pay a one-off fee. I think it was a couple of $100 for argument's sake, and I have access to that in theory for life. Now, that's been a bit of a clunky site for us. It's not brilliantly user-friendly, and I've asked a number of our members to come back to me and say, what do you think? And they've all said it's a little bit clunky, it's not well organized, and it's not brilliant. So we've gone over to something called Kajabi, and that particular site costs me about I think it's $200 a month, but it is totally interactive. Now, they're working on it as we speak. I sent them all the video links yesterday. They're putting those in. The membership levels will work a lot better. The membership side of it is going to be slightly different as well. So it's going to be 2 weeks from now, and we will be doing a relaunch of the membership site with all of the bells and whistles hopefully working extremely well. We will test it for a week beforehand, and then for you guys, then what I will do is I will come out to you and ask you for your comments, probably the week before we go live, so that if there's anything that we think we should be changing, we can look at it, or anything you're not seeing your end. But this is a very exciting time for us, because we're about to really get heavily involved in a lot more things which will be coming out to you over the next few months. And I've got some very interesting I'm going to say partners, for want of a better word, other people that are in the business that are going to come to you and give you some really, really cracking ideas on how you can make a little bit more money. Anyway, tonight we're talking about, and it's great to see so many of you there, we're talking about how to source stock so that you can sell it online. So, whoops, let me just get rid of that. There we are. Press the escape button. I'll just knock that one off. And what we're looking at is stock, how we can source stock, where we can source it from, and what you've got to do from the pricing point of view. Now, one of the things that we're seeing is we're seeing a lot more savvy buyers. So for the people that have been selling on eBay and Amazon and their own websites, for want of a better word, you know, whatever the outlet is, people are going out and they're going shopping. So they're going to the big stores, they're scanning the barcode of the item they like, using something like this type of technology, and that's giving them the user-friendly price guide of where they can buy it cheaper. Now that is all very well as long as you are in the competitive market and you are using the barcode accordingly, so that the barcode you're using is the one that the manufacturer or the supplier is sending out to you. The other way of doing it is obviously get out of that little bit of a rat race, as it were, and to then put a barcode in that is of your own. Now, I'm not going to go into the barcode exercise tonight. Most of you will have seen that. If you don't know what it is, when we launch the new members site, it will be there in the members area for you. And at some point, I will be doing another webinar where we will look at barcodes, I am sure, in one of the training days. But what we're seeing now is we're seeing a lot of people going out with technology. I've seen it on the stuff that we're selling. And as you know, on Amazon, Amazon requires a barcode. Now, you can either put the manufacturer's barcode in or you can put your own. And those of you that know me know that I use my own barcodes where I've got a competitive item and I am trying to reach the customer by using keywords and other sources to actually get it in front of the customer. So I may miss out on some sales, but if I haven't got the competition, so if we look here where you've got lots of competitive prices, if I haven't got the competition and I'm being found by a keyword as opposed to what somebody else has been putting in, or I might be being found through YouTube by putting a video in which is heavily keyworded, and I'm linking the YouTube video to either my Amazon shop page or I'm linking it directly into the product or the product category on eBay. And again, most of you know all about that side of it, but for those of you who don't know about that side of it, yes, it is in the members area, and yes, we will be doing some more training and probably some up-to-date training on that, and bringing out some more information so that things are getting easier with the technology we've got now. Things are getting a lot easier. I've even got one particular client who is using a iPhone to do all the photographics and the pictures, and they're putting the photographs and the pictures into the software that we've recommended, and that is how they're doing their videos. And they've just got a little tiny tripod, a little tiny handheld tripod, I think it's called a monkey grab or something like that, and they use that to actually get a steady shot, and it's brilliant. It is good enough to sell the product online. But anyway, we've got to be aware that people are price conscious and they are looking to actually go out, and they're in the shops, and you may have come across this. I've certainly been told about it, and that people are going in and scanning, and you're getting the shop management rather upset. They don't like it when people go in and scan to see where the item can be purchased the cheapest. They actually are seeing their product, their item. Oops, sorry, wrong video. There we go. They're actually seeing their item not being sold through that shop because they're walking out, because they can go along, they can do the price check just as you're seeing on this video here. Enlarge that for you. So as you can see on this video here, they're doing the price check on the actual phone itself, and it's coming up and saying where it is the cheapest. Now then, for the eBay sellers of the world, what you've got to remember is at the moment, eBay do not say, we definitely need you to put in your barcode. It is an option. But our understanding is that eBay want to go more and more down the routes of having barcodes. So they're giving you the opportunity to put the barcode in. So again, I think over the coming 12, 18 months, we're going to see more and more barcodes going into eBay, and at some point eBay are going to turn around and say everything has got to have a barcode unless it is a used item. They're going to have to put some sort of filter in there. Not sure how they're going to do it. They're going to have to do something, either that or they're going to have to allow people to use barcodes of their own choice. And also, of course, you guys, when you're out there looking for items, let me just mute that for a moment. When you're actually going out there, so when you go to the trade events, a lot of the manufacturers and a lot of the wholesalers are putting the barcodes on the actual item. So you need to take with you an iPhone or a phone which has got the appropriate app so that you can download the barcode app. Because there is nothing worse than you going to a trade event, finding a wholesaler, finding a product that you think you really like, saying, I'll buy 100 units of that at X price, only to find out, and this is the big thing here, only to find out that somebody else is selling it for the same price that you're buying it for, because you're buying it in the wrong part of the food chain. So when you go to these trade events, take an item with you like this. This is a brilliant tip. I've done it. They don't like it. The vendors don't like it. As far as I'm concerned, if I want to do business with them, I need to know that I'm getting the best price, that I'm not dealing with somebody who is 5 or 6 rungs in the food chain, and we're dealing with somebody who is not able to give us the best price because they're not the right person. I need to know that I'm dealing with the company that is nearest the source of the manufacturer, or I'm dealing with the manufacturer and I can get the best possible price. Just bear with me one second. I've just had a nice big bee that's just flown in and it's wandering around by me. Bear with me one second. I shall let it out. That's the beauty of doing things live, folks. Sorry about that, but A, I didn't want to get stung, and B, I didn't want to start swatting it and moving it and trying to duck it. So when you go to your trade events, wherever those trade events are, massive, massive tip, have something that can take the scan of the, take a scan of the barcode. And if you can get the app, download the app, so when you're scanning it, you are finding out who else is selling it. So that is going to give you a good idea of your competition. One of the things about going to the trade events is that, and we learn this, I've learned this the hard way, and I've learned it the easy way, for want of a better word, but the hard way is normally the better way to learn things, because you tend not to forget. One of the things that I have learned is that people tell me lies. You will go to a trade stand and they will lie to you. Not all of them, but some of them will. At the end of the day, if you're going to spend £1,000, £10,000 with that company, if you're dealing with a company where the sales team are not paid employees but they're commissioned agents, this is a generalization, but to a great extent they couldn't care less as long as they're getting their commission when you pay your invoice, or if your invoice is pro forma. And the more sales they get in, depending on the package that they have got with that company, the more commission they are going to earn. So from that point of view, you need to be very aware that you are being sold to. Just in the way that you want to sell products to your customers, you are being sold to. So don't always believe what they say. Now, some of you know that one of the products, oh, and by the way, if you've got any questions whilst we're live, just go to the chat button at the top and pop that in, and Nick will either point it out to me, or I've got it on my other screen here. I'll pick it up and I will answer any questions as we're going forward. So I got caught out a little while ago when I bought something called Beer Buddies, and they're little bottle openers, and you put those little bottle openers on your fence, and when you put them on the fence, they obviously they sit there, and you prize it off, and the top off the beer bottle, and they're there. They were about 25-30 quid. When I saw the guy at one of the trade events, I said, who else have you got selling them online? Nobody. How many people are you going to let sell online? Oh, we don't want many online sellers. In fact, we don't want any. We don't want to, we don't too many. So I said, in that case, I'll work with you. So I bought these products, the Beer Buddies, and I started selling them quite well. And I bought 2 lots. I bought a trial lot, and then they went quite well, so I bought a second lot. After about 6 weeks, all of a sudden I noticed my sales were dropping. And then when we did a competitor analysis, which is something I always recommend people do, when I did the competitor analysis, I found that there was a lot of them for sale, and the price had gone down dramatically. And just out of curiosity, let's just have a look, see if we can find them, because I was selling them to start with in the UK at £34.99, and they were costing me £11. Okay, there we go, wall-mounted bottle opener on Amazon. There we are, there's one, £13.90. Right, they were coming in to me at £11 from memory, and we were selling them out at £35. And this looks like one of them here. That is definitely one of them. That is definitely one of them. So there we are, from £16.99 to £24.99, £20.99, £20.49. So these are the ones that we were selling, and we actually took them off, and we decided not to go any further. So there's 3 people selling this. Now, you've got to remember, £11 was the buying price in. Let's say they've managed to shave a little bit off the price. You're still going to be buying them in at around about a tenner a piece. You're selling them for £20. What is your profit on that? There isn't any, is the answer. That one's free delivery. These are free delivery. There's no money in that anymore. That has gone. So what I did is I dropped our prices in the UK to around about £24 to £27 to clear, and I still found people were dropping their price even further. So this is an actual prime example of what to look out for when you're buying, because you need to be able to make a decent profit. So what I did with these in the end is I moved them and I sold them in the US and Australia, and I got my £35 converted into dollars, of course. I got my £35 from those guys over there, and I sold out quite nicely, but I never went back and bought any more. So that particular company lost me as a client, and the reason I didn't go back to buy any more is I could see 1 or 2 of the eBay and Amazon people looking at those overseas market, because they'd actually found mine and they could see where I was selling them. So all we were doing was eroding the profit margin, which is something I'm really, really, really against. You've got to be able to actually keep your margins there. You've got to be able to make some money. There's no good doing this job that we do for no money. You've got to have something at the end of it. And let me just bring this up. We're going to be looking at this in a little while anyway. So why don't we bring this across and have a quick look at it now? Okay, I'm going to say, let's say that stock item there was costing me £10. Okay, my selling price on there, it was, let's say it's £21, just to keep it easy. Packer time, packaging, there wasn't a great deal of packaging with that, so it was only the box. They were really well boxed, so it probably is only a grey bag type of scenario. eBay, PayPal, rough fees, £3. VAT to pay to the VAT man if I'm VAT registered, etc., etc. Now the postage on that would be more because it's a box, so that postage is going to be about 320 there or thereabouts. Could be cheaper. So returns, you know my rules on returns. Always put something in because it gets lost, it gets broken, it gets damaged. On this one it'd be quite low. This would be the people that said didn't turn up. Whether they're telling the truth or not is irrelevant. It would be the people that were saying it didn't turn up. So what am I making? I'm making £1.66. A £1.66 net margin for a £10 product at selling at 21. If their price is still £11 as a purchase price and I'm selling at 20.49, I'm making 53p. This is what I'm saying. So many people out there are not looking at the real numbers. And when I was buying them in at £11 and I was selling them for 34, I was making a tenner a piece, nearly £9 a piece. And I'm probably actually slightly cheaper on the postage, but I was making £9 to £10 a piece. That is a nice margin. And that's the type of margin you need to be looking for when you go to the trade shows. Whilst we're on the profit calculator, let's just have a quick look at this in a little bit more detail. What you need to do here is think to yourself when you're at the trade show, right, Mr. Trade Show buyer, you're charging me £11 for the item. You scan the barcode or you find out what the recommended retail price is, what their guide price is, what price most people are selling them in the marketplace. You do a bit of research. If you've got a tablet with you or you're really good with the iPhone, put the item in, find it online. Have a look. What is the average lowest price that is selling for? And have you got to compete at that bottom end of the market? Or is there room for you to take it to a different place? So find out what your selling price should be. Find out what your competitive selling price should be. They can be two totally different things. So whilst you're in there, have a look at it and think, right, okay, how long is it going to take? Now, if you're doing this business for yourself, the packer time is your time. Now, a lot of people say, I don't charge for my time, I just pack it. Your time is valuable. If you're sourcing product, you're packing product, you're putting it online, you're advertising it, you're dealing with the customer service, you're dealing with the orders, your time is valuable. So don't take out time from the point of view of costing it in. You need to have something in there because there's going to be times, and hey, we've done it, 24-hour shifts at times like Christmas and Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and all these special times when we've had physical products that are totally directed. And before I outsourced everything, when I had the 6,500 square foot mezzanine warehouse in Shrewsbury, which basically gave me 12,000 square feet, and it was packed to the rafters, and I had the 13 staff there, we were working 24-hour shifts at the busiest times. You know, I slept at the office. I slept at the desk at the office because it was so busy. We had to actually get those orders out to make sure they were there. My teams were working right through and we had a swap over. You know, midnight somebody else would come in and somebody would go home. But two of us were there for the whole period of time and we were bringing people in. They were doing 18-hour days for us. Going home, getting a few hours sleep, coming back. You know, brilliant. Royal Mail loved it. We loved it. The volume was great. The turnover was great. Crikey, it doesn't have to take a toll on you. Did we see much of Christmas? Did we manage to celebrate the weekend of Mother's Day? Did we manage to do all the things that we would want to do? Not really. We were too exhausted. So don't devalue your time. Packaging costs. You all know you're going to have to put it in a bag. You're going to have to put it in a box. You're going to have to put it in something. So just take with you a mental idea of what that's roughly going to cost. And then your eBay and PayPal fees. What are they going to be? So work on a rough percentage. This rough percentage here is 15.8%. Now, if it's on Amazon, it may be 17%. So it makes a difference. So, but go in there, work on about 17%. That's what I tend to do. And the way I look at it, if I've got a web store as well, I'm going to sell more product through Amazon. eBay is going to come up second. That's normally the way it goes in the type of lines I sell. It may not be the same for everybody. And then I'm going to have my web store that will sell it second. But I've still got to put some effort in through social media, through SEO, search engine optimization, maybe pay-per-click, maybe AdWords. I've still got to put some effort in to actually sell that item. So there is still a cost to me, a cost of sale, a cost of marketing, cost of advertising. So don't rule out the fact that there is a fee. I look at the eBay, PayPal, Amazon fees as being marketing costs. That's how I treat it, because I put keywords in there, I put video in there, I put links out through Facebook and social media and all that type of thing to drive people back to my sites. So don't lose fact of the site that, oh, I'm selling on my own website, I've got no marketing costs. If that's what you're thinking, you're wrong. You've got marketing costs. You might be paying somebody £500 a month to do your SEO. What have they done for you? Can you prove it works? It's still a cost. What is that 500? If that 500 is generating £50,000 worth of sales, you can do a calculation there. Well, for every pound of a sale, it costs me X. If it's generating you £5,000 in a sale, that's quite a big hit. So you really do need to be looking at that. VAT, obviously, if you're paying the VAT man, you're paying the VAT man. If you're not, that bit's going in your pocket. So if you haven't got to the VAT threshold yet, then thank you very much, that stays with you. Having said that, that buying price will be slightly dearer. You'll add another couple of pounds on that price to pay VAT. So your purchase price would be £13.20 as opposed to £11, because you wouldn't be claiming it back. The returns, again, look at your product. Is it something, when you're at these trade shows, ask them to show you the packaging that it comes to you in, so that you understand what you need to do to put the correct packaging around the item. Talk to the trade show guys and say, I need to see the packaging, please. If they're not prepared to show you the packaging, you've got to ask why not. And again, I can give you another example. Now, if somebody wants a really good product, although you're probably, where are we now, August, you'd have to be pretty damn fast to actually get it on the market for this Christmas, but it's a brilliant Christmas line. I had a product and I was ordering I think it was £45,000 worth, thereabouts, of this particular product. It's a breakable product. It's a ceramic product and breakable. I put the order with the company, and the order was subject to them supplying me with the packaging so as I could see how it came, and making sure that the packaging coming out of China was postable, or they got me the products so that we could repackage them and that my box manufacturer could make an appropriate box. But to do that, I needed the product in the UK in time, but I also needed the samples. Now, we were having this discussion in July last year, I think it was, and he said, yep, I'll get you the samples, I'll get you samples. He was getting me the samples, getting me samples. We came to October, I still hadn't received the samples. Now, I've got a commitment to about 40 grand, 45,000 pounds worth of stock. That's a lot of stock at cost price. Now, these items would be selling at around about 40 to 50 pounds a piece. So they were coming into me around about 10, 12 pound a unit. He eventually brought me some samples, but they were the same samples I'd seen before, and he just put some mock-up boxes around them. Well, that was no good. I ended up having to cancel the order, and I had to exercise the fact that the order was subject to them providing me with the samples, because they were claiming that that point that I wasn't going to see the stock until November. Well, I didn't have a problem with that, purely because if the stock had arrived in November, I could have quite easily moved it through one of the voucher sites who I was talking to about taking the stock. So we would have had big lump sales through, I think it was Groupon that I was talking to at the time. And we were going to have massive sales. And if I needed to repackage them, the cardboard supplier to make the box was on side. I got a team of people at a fulfillment house that were more than happy to do the repackaging. There was a cost to it. And they would then label them, put them on the shelves, and two things would happen. One, they would have gone to Amazon fulfillment, and my eBay and Amazon and website sales would have gone there, and another bunch would have gone, would have stayed at that fulfillment house so that the Groupon sales could be met, and they would have been met from the fulfillment house. So we had it all worked out, but I had to cancel the order because there was no way, if the products was going to arrive in the country in November and they hadn't brought me the samples, there was absolutely no way I was going to get everything done, and I was going to be left with stock. I was going to be left with stock because it was going to take about 4 weeks to actually repackage if they needed it, which they probably would have done when I saw the samples, but they would have taken 4 weeks to do the repackaging, the labeling, getting them out into the relevant places, getting them into Amazon fulfillment. That can take up to 2 weeks. So it would have been a big, big job. So when you're talking to your suppliers, and if you're looking at buying quantity and volume, you need to understand this. You need to look at it. Now, in all fairness, the Chinese are getting very, very switched on to this. The UK reps and people like that that have been so used to dealing with shops and footfall type transactions haven't quite got there yet. Some of them, they're a little bit behind. Apologies to anybody who's a rep that's on the call. But some of them are a little bit behind. But what we're starting to see is China are starting to actually say, okay, we will put your boxes, we will make your product for you, and we will make the packaging post ready. So when they come out, when they come to us in the outer, when we get 24 units in an outer box, the inner boxes around the units, all you've got to do is take that box, put a label on it. It's got the barcode, it's got the SKU code, it's got everything you need on there. You just take it out, you put your post label on it, goes into the post and away. It costs a little bit more to have it manufactured that way. But the cost, that little bit extra cost, and the fact that it costs a little bit more to ship them, because don't forget, when you've got product coming out from China, you're dealing in volumetrics. You're not dealing with just the product, you're dealing with the volumetric weight of the product. So how much can they get in that container? If they can make it smaller, they can get more product in the container, therefore it is less cost on the product. But you have to think of it the other way around. I need it post ready. I need it with my barcodes on it. I need it with my SKU codes on it, so that when it comes in its big outer box, that shipment can go straight from whatever the landing point is, straight to my fulfillment house. So if I have something coming into Portsmouth, I want that consignment, that pallet, that box, boxes, whatever it is, container, if it's a container, I want that container going to wherever it is I'm having it fulfilled, and in whichever country. So that way I don't have to touch it. But the factory has already made all the boxing so that it does a drop test. And when you're with suppliers, now you might not have the nerve to do this, that's fair enough. I do it, and I don't apologize for doing it at all. I do it on a regular basis. I will be with a manufacturer. They will give me a finished product. I will hold it at arm's length. Do you know what? I'm actually doing this while I'm talking to you. I'm actually holding my arms out as if I've got a box in my hand. I will hold it out at arm's length, and I will drop it. I will drop it to see if it is actually physically going to break or damage. And I have broken a lot of items for manufacturers and for suppliers. And they don't like me when I do that. But it gets the point over to them. So then they go away and they do something. And I have been known to wander up step ladder, stand on a chair, go up some stairs if I've been at a particular venue, and drop it from a greater height. I've also been known to stamp on it, depending on what it is. Don't forget, in this market, in the retail market, I have been selling breakable items for many, 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 many years, whether it's been concrete, ceramics, china, porcelain, crystal, beer glasses, you name it. I've sold some really fragile stuff. So when it comes down to knowing what I need to know about the packaging side of it, I know it. So if any of you have got some ideas and say, these are the products I want to go for, or if anybody wants to know about that product that I said, I'm not selling it this year. I've not gone and put the deal together with them for it, but I can tell you what it is, and then you can go and source it yourself directly in China. Normally, I would have gone down that route myself. There is still good profit in it, but one of the companies that were bringing the product in is having some financial issues, so I don't think he's bringing the product in this year. I don't want to go to the competitor because that was the one that we had the problems with. I could go to China direct and buy the product myself direct. So if anybody is in that situation, drop me an email, drop me a quick note in the chat box, and I'll come back to you and I'll tell you what the product is so that you can then go and look for it. But don't ask me just out of curiosity. Please only ask me if you are really, really interested. They retail between 35 and probably £50, and your cost into the UK should be probably around about £10–12 a unit. It's a Christmas winter line. It is a seasonal line. They will dribble out through the rest of the year, but you really make your money once the clocks go back and we lose light in the UK. It does have an electric plug on it as well, so you can only sell them in the UK. But of course, if you do want to sell them and you wanted to sell them here in France, and to be quite honest, I haven't seen any here in France, so if you wanted to sell them here in France, you'd be able to do that, because for the Chinese, it's not a problem to put a Euro plug on it. Simple. They sell to Europe anyway. So they would put a Euro plug on it. But if anybody is seriously interested in that, make contact. I will let you know what that item is, and you can then go away and have a look at sourcing it yourself. So nice and easy. Excuse me. So looking at pricing, really, really, really target your pricing. And when you're at the trade shows, get yourselves one of those apps and start really looking at what you need to be. You don't want to be selling a £35 product for £20. Purely, so many people today are just beating themselves up on price. That is all they're doing. It's all about the fastest to the lowest price. There's no need for us to do that. We should be working in a little bit of a smarter way, and the best way to do it is to use your own barcodes, use your own keyword research, and you know my views on barcodes and keyword research, and then also get the video in there. And once you've got that video in there and then you start putting it out through the social media, massive, massive effect. Massive effect. So there we are. That is a little bit, that's a bit of a rant over as well, isn't it? So that is a little bit on where we are there. So let's come away from that. Right. One of the reasons that we're doing this tonight is I've had a number of questions from people to say, where do I get stock from? Where do I get stock? How can I get stock? Where do I go? Where do I source it from? Now, it's easy for me because I know a lot of places to go. And when you're just starting out, or if you're helping other people who are starting out, which I spend a lot of time with, you need to know where to go and actually source. Now, what we've got coming up between the 7th and 10th of September, and this is the reason why I decided this better go out now rather than later, you've got the NEC Birmingham Autumn Fair. Now, this is a big event in the UK. and it is one place where you can go and you can walk around. Now, when I go to the autumn fair or the spring fair, and we'll look at the spring fair in a moment, when I go to the autumn fair, I normally take 4 days to actually walk around it. I tend not to go on the Sunday because that is the busiest day. Because on the Sunday, what you tend to have is all the people that run their little shops, their little footfall shops and things like that, they tend to be there. And obviously the staff that are there for the suppliers, if they're large companies, or the people that are perhaps just starting out and taking their first stand, the smaller companies, they are there and they are looking to take orders. So they don't want the browsers, people like myself. So I tend to go on the Mondays and go through to the final day. That way I can walk comfortably around. You also know that on the Mondays you're normally there with the people who are the bigger buyers rather than the people that are running the small shop, running the business from home. You're normally not in that crowd. You're normally in the crowd of people that are there from the professional point of view. So you could bump into Amazon and their team of people wandering around looking for the next thing that Amazon can sell direct. You could be there when, I don't know, Marks and Spencer's buyers are there, Waitrose buyers are there, Tesco's buyers are there, Dunelm, Co-op, you name it. They all have people that go to these events that look to find products. So you've got lots of things in here that you can look at. And again, it depends. They've actually done quite a nice website, I must admit. It all depends on what niche market you want to look at. Now, what I tend to do when I go here is for the first 2 days, I will walk around. I know an awful lot of people there. So when I'm walking around on the first 2 days, I'm making notes. I've got the show catalogue, I'm marking, I'm making notes, that product I'm interested in, that product I'm interested in, this product line I'm interested in, and I will go through and I will come back and think, okay, what is it on day 3 and day 4? Who are the people I want to go back and talk to? So again, during this process, when I'm looking at the stock, I am looking and I'm thinking, okay, I need to purchase some mugs and I want to purchase them from, okay, let's say the supplier. I don't know what this supplier supplies. So let's go in and I want to purchase some stuff from here. So during the first 2 days, I will have gone to their trade stand. I would have had a look at what they've got. I would have written down some information and then I would have wandered off with that information and had a look. And what you'll find is a lot of them are bunched together, so you actually get to see the actual product ranges that the other suppliers are selling. So you would get to have a look and you can go away and you can start making notes, but also I can go away and I can decide, right, I do like that product, I like that particular range. Let's say I'm going to go in and purchase some of these products. Right, what are they selling them at? Now I might have a price list at that stage, I might be going back for a price list. But I would be able to go in, pick up the price list, get the items, and then what am I going to do? I'm going to go and buy myself a coffee, take my tablet with me, and I'm going to do some research. I'm going to look to see who else is selling them. I'm then going to put their generic search terms in that they use in their catalogue, so old French wooden boxes. I would be putting that into my Google, Amazon web page, and I'd be saying, right, what else is coming up? Then I'd be looking for some pictures. Then I'd be looking to see who else is selling them. Is there money in this? Is there some money in these products? And then whilst I'm sitting there with my notebook, with my show guide, with my show catalogue, I'm going through and I am writing down anything that I think I can sell that there's a market for, and anything that is in that market that is worth purchasing. Now, from that point of view, I am able to very, very, very easily within those days rule out a large number of products. Now, I'll go around there and I will look, and I've normally got other people with me as well, because it's not just my taste, it's other people's taste. I will go out and I will be looking at items. I've got my own thoughts on what I should and shouldn't be selling. Now, somebody else will come up and say, what about this? We should be selling these as well. So, okay, let's have a look. Let's do the price comparison. Let's see what they're selling for. Let's see where the market price has leveled out at the moment, and is there any money in it? So when I'm at that trade event, I've actually got this with me on my tablet. So I can quickly put in, right, that item, it's a £50 item. It's selling online at the moment at $99.99. That's the cheapest I can find it on Amazon. Right, let's say the packaging on that is going to be £3.20 because I need a brand new outer box for it. That's roughly going to be my fees there. Postage, possibly that could be correct for the postage. Is it a breakable item? Is my return rate going to be more than at 2% of sales? Is it going to be 10% of sales? If it's going to be 10% of sales because it's a breakable item, so if you think of some of the ceramics that I send out, probably around about 10% of those will have a damage claim on them of some sort or another if we use Royal Mail and if we haven't got them packaged right. So it may be that I've only got 4%. I've never actually got to 10%, but let's say, you know, I'm making an allowance for 10%. So I'll put in 10% so that it will come out. So I'm going to make £8. Okay, that's fine. I could possibly live with that, you know. So let's move that back to 2%. And so I'm getting an idea. I'm going to make between £8 and £16, depending on what my return rate is. And again, don't forget that under the rules and regs that we have now and everything we have to adhere to, eBay's policies, Amazon's policies, all the rest of it, the customer has got the opportunity to send it back. Simple as that. They get it, oh, not what I want, put it back in the post. Yes, it's got to come back pristine, unused, unopened, all the rest of it. Doesn't matter. The customer has still got the opportunity to send it back. So a £50 item purchase stock cost, and let's say the market is the lowest seller is £99, and that's what I've got to compete with. Bearing in mind, if the market is already down to £99 on a £50 purchase, the chances are it's only going to go lower. So what I might do is say, okay, if I'm going to have to compete at 99, and I'll have worked out the competition, how many people are selling? Is it just one? Is it 21? If it's 21, I don't want to know. I'm not in there, I'm out. But let's say that I've got 4 other people selling the product, and we've got to the lowest at 99 now. Well, let's just have a look and see if we end up with more problems. Will I still make some money if I have to clear at 89? What if I have to clear out at 79? I'm still going to break even at 79, just about. If too many people come in, if the company doesn't tell me quite the whole truth, because on a £50 purchase, where I actually want it to be is around about 150 quid, because I want to be making around about that type of money back. So if my market is saying to me that people are selling it at 129, now a lot of these numbers I already know because I've spent that long doing it. I can walk around and think 50 quid, okay, I need 150 return on that. What's the packaging going to be? So I'm going to need that. I'll work out roughly what my return rate is going to be. I will know very quickly, I can assess very, very quickly whether there's money in that product. When I go and do the online research, I can then assess what my competition is doing so that I can understand the competitive side of it, so that from the competitor's point of view, if I've got a lot of competition in the marketplace, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not interested. It's a race to the bottom. There's no money in it. Not unless the company that is supplying me, key question for you, make a note of this. This is an extremely key question. What is their policy on suggested retail price? Now then, it is illegal in the UK to price fix. Probably illegal in Europe to price fix, in all fairness, under the EU rules and regs. You cannot price fix. As a supplier, you can suggest that people should sell them at this price. There is a practice going on at the moment in the supply chain where people want to maintain margin because they're now seeing that we're seeing a lot of companies seeing their products devalue massively because allowing so much competition and the fastest to the bottom price. We've got a lot of companies now that are turning the tables a little bit, and they're starting to say things like, actually guys, you're not going to be able to sell it at this price. If you want to sell it anything lower than X, so let's say if you want to sell this any lower than £99, we might have a supply problem for you because we want to maintain margin. You really must be selling it at £99. So they may just put some pressure on in there from that way so that you're going to have to sell it at a minimum price to obtain the supply chain, to obtain the supply through the supply chain. Now, how hard they police it is a different matter from company to company. I've come across a number of companies that police it very well, and I like trading with them because we all maintain margin. But we get a lot of companies that say that they will do this, and when it actually comes to it, they don't. So you need to be looking at the competitors, you need to be looking at the price, and you need to be looking at the supplier's terms and conditions. And if that supplier's terms and conditions are, you may have supply problems if you don't sell at our price, then they may be worth talking to. If they turn round to you and say, you want to sell online, that's fine. How many online sellers have you got? I always ask, key questions, again, make some notes here, guys. Write this down. Key question, who else are you supplying directly to? Are you talking to Amazon direct, and are you looking to sell to Amazon direct? As if they're going to sell to Amazon direct, I might as well walk away now because there's going to be no money in it, because Amazon will, a bit like Tesco's, a bit like Sainsbury's, a bit like all of the, Asda's, they will screw them down on price. They will nail their feet to the floor, and you will not be able to compete with that product within that sales frame. So you might as well walk away if they're selling that product to Amazon direct. Most companies will answer you honestly. One or two will turn around and say, I'm not prepared to tell you. Well, if you're not prepared to tell me, I might not be prepared to give you the money out of my bank. That's the way to look at that one. If they're not prepared to tell you, then there's a problem. So it may be that you have to say, okay, well, look, can I speak to your national sales manager then? Because if we're going to trade, and if I'm going to spend 10 grand with you, or if I'm going to spend 100 grand a year with you, I need to know that I'm able to spend that 100 grand a year with you and trade with you in a way that is actually going to be profitable for my business. So write these questions down. Who are your leading retailers? Who are your leading retailers? Who are you supplying to in the big sheds? Are they supplying Dunelm? Are they supplying the range? Are they supplying any of the other discounters that work out there? Do they talk? Are they talking? Are they looking at selling to Amazon direct? Again, I'm going to give you another example here of product that we used to sell, if I can find it. Bear with me 1 second. Take that away. Okay, I'm going to go on to Amazon, I think. Amazon.co.uk. Help if I could actually spell, wouldn't it, folks, eh? How did I do that? Probably because I'm losing light here over in France as I'm talking to you, and I haven't switched my lights on yet. Might help if I do that, mightn't it? So, what am I looking for? Let's have a look at pig gifts. Okay. Let me see if we can find exactly what I'm looking for. Perhaps I've made that touch. There we go, Vivid Arts. I used to deal with a company called Vivid Arts. Now, Vivid Arts, when I went to deal with them, this is probably about 4 or 5 years ago, they were selling to garden centres only their range of products. Lovely range of products, lovely people to deal with, really nice people, no problem with them whatsoever. Okay, none whatsoever. And I was working with the guy that runs the business, Paul, and the guy that was looking after the national side of it, Ian. And we were going to, we bought a lot of their product and we sold it. We did all right with it. We did very, very well with it. But there weren't many people selling it at the time. Then Ian came to me and said, "We want to. We've been approached by Amazon. We're going to go direct to Amazon." Right. Okay. You're probably going to lose some of your independence. And there you go. Amazon.co.uk. £8.50. This here is the price it should be. Around about £15, including postage. Okay. Now, Pets Pad and Mill Race, they're not going to sell a damn thing there. These are coming in, I'm going from memory, these are just the small pigs. These are coming in around about £3, £3.20, something like that. That type of price. So where's the profit in this? At that? There isn't any. So if I come back to here, and you know, I will have a quick look at other Vivid Art stuff, and well, Amazon I know aren't buying it at that. Amazon will be buying it around about that because they're pushing volume. Now they haven't got everything in there, but if I was to buy it, there would be some packaging on there, but it wouldn't be much. Probably their packaging is quite good, so probably grey bag, maybe a little bit of bubble wrap. I've got my fees. I've still got my postage. Amazon are doing it free post. I can't compete. I'm going to lose money. Hence, we don't do business with them anymore because I cannot sell their product. When I was selling their product and it was coming into me at that, and we were selling it, including postage, we were selling it £16, £15.99, £16 when we started. You know, we were making some decent money. You know, we were making £3 on a £3.20 item, so it was good margin. Yeah, it worked, but we cannot do it anymore. So if they're supplying Amazon direct, walk away, guys. Tell anybody who you're dealing with. If they're dealing with Amazon direct, walk away. If they're dealing with people like the Grange, have a look. Sorry, the Range. Have a look at what the Range are doing. If they're dealing with one of the garden centres, don't forget that Dobby's is owned by Tesco's, so you know, have a look and see and think. So this is the type of stuff they do. It's absolutely lovely stuff. It really is nice stuff, and we did really well with it, and especially with some of the big things and things like this. I've actually still got one of these. It's here with me in France. Came over from the UK. Lovely little piece. Actually, it's a bigger size than that. It's not the medium, it's the large. But again, if Amazon are taking them direct, then you've got nowhere to go with the price. That one Yeah, dispatched from and sold by Amazon. So they've got it direct. There's nobody else selling it. Um, that one I can't remember off the top of my head, but probably I would have been looking for around about 39.99 on that, 40 quid. Price for both 59. So they got some more here, different prices you can see. But see what I mean? You need to, when you go to these trade events, which we'll go back to in a second, when you go around to these trade events, you need to be asking the questions. You need to be finding out who else they're supplying in the supply chain, so that you can go in and you don't end up competing. And let's have a look at this, what we got here. 5 people trying to sell this one, so let's have a look. Again, Amazon direct. There we go. That's probably where it should be. 24, 25 pound. That would be about right. So nobody, no, none of these guys here have really got a chance of selling it, because don't forget, when somebody goes to Amazon and they say, oh yeah, I like that, so they click on that, they know that by default all they've got to do is click the add to basket button, because by default, unless they have changed their default settings, and 99.8% of people don't, they are going to have the default setting as the lowest price showing first. So the lowest price including postage, which should always be free post anyway, showing first. They're not going to say, oh right, 17.99, let's have a look at the other 5 people that are selling it. Oh right, okay, I think I'm going to buy it for £24.06. They're not going to do it. And then if you go into eBay, let's have a quick look at eBay, and let's have a same there. Bear with me one second, I'm just putting the light on. I might be able to see the keys on my keyboard now. ebay.co.uk. Let's have a look for. So I've had to sack an awful lot of suppliers because they've gone and they've done these things. And where do you go in the marketplace? What do you do? What can you sell? How do you compete? And it is exactly the same. Let's just put Vivid Art Pig, see what comes up. I always love the way people are so. There we go, 10.90 on. That's the one we looked at before. £10.90 there. Somebody else there, 12.99. That one's plus postage. That one is free post. Why? Why would you do free post? You can see lovely, absolutely gorgeous stuff. Have no problem with the stuff at all. And of course, the Spot was a popular one. And here's the same guy from who we looked at in Amazon. Here he is selling the spotted version of it, £16.99. He's put an RRP in there of £30.33. That should be a £24 line. And it just comes to reducing price. At least with eBay, you're shown separately rather than anything else. This is an item I used to do well with. This is one of theirs. And we used to do their full in memoriam range. But there's no money in it anymore. Ceramic items, they've dropped the market for us. It's just absolutely no good. And look at this. Okay, I'm nitpicking now, but where are the keywords? Hardly any keywords in that title. Never going to be found. Never going to be found. Not easily anyway. Hardly any keywords in there. 2 watches over a period of time. Doesn't tell me if they've sold any. They got 3 available, so the chances are they haven't sold any. Somebody that could do a little bit of training here, I think, on how to sell their items. You know, but they're buying off a really good company. Well, they're not buying much off that company. They're not. Oh, right, okay. That's a little bit of a hit and miss shop, isn't it? But there you are. Uh, okay, perhaps it's too late for trading on this one, or they're not big enough yet. They're putting the pictures in, no video. I used to have all of these on video, do 360-degree video, and I hate this on eBay. I think this is terrible. Why distract somebody? Right, I've clicked in. That's the product I want to look at. That's the product I'm thinking of buying. Oh, I'm going to click away to that item here, if it'll let me. Oh, there we are. There it is. I'm going to click away from that page. I'm going to look at something else. That's if you can click away. So, um, and it's been removed. But you see what I mean? Right, am I going to go back to that item I was looking at again? No. So you need to get rid of these, or at least put them at the bottom. Don't put them at the top. You know, but there we are. We're going on to a different subject, and you all know that it is a subject that I love. But there you go, Vivid Art, really good price. They've gone direct to Amazon. I know the contract they have with Amazon. I'm fully aware of how I've seen all of the Amazon contracts. I say all of them. I've seen a number of Amazon contracts that have been written up, so I know the terms and conditions and what people are entering into. So it's the fastest race to the bottom. Amazon want to give the customer the best deal they can. And look at this guy. This guy's gone £17.95, so he can be 4p cheaper than this. But he's got postage in there, so he's not going to get the buy button. Amazon have still got the buy button because they've got the postage. They've got the way of getting it out. Their postage costs are so brilliantly low. So when you go to the trade shows, ask the question, because Amazon have a team of buyers that go to these trade shows, walk around the trade shows, and actually look to see what is current in the marketplace. So they're there, and if they're going to take on some really good products, then what is the point of actually trading with them? Anybody that says to me, oh yeah, we supply Amazon direct, as I've said before, that's my walk away cue. I walk away, I leave them to it, let them get on with it, and let them work with Amazon. And I'm afraid for me, there's no money in it. Don't forget, folks, if you've got any questions at any point, pop them into the chat box and I will pick those up later. So back to the NEC and back to the autumn fair. The autumn fair, as you know, is on 7th to the 10th of September. If you are a first time visitor and you've never been to one of these places, arrive there nice and early, get in at the start time. Doors normally open around about 10 o'clock, goes on till between 5 or 6 o'clock, depends on the type of show, depends on the organisation. Take a pair of very comfortable shoes. For the ladies, do not go in high heels unless you want really bad feet at the end of the day. I have seen a lot of people in these places at high heels, and I have seen a lot of people in high heels at the end of the day, and you can tell that they're walking in pain. There is an awful lot of mileage that you're going to walk at one of these places, because the event itself is vast. Depending upon the event that you're going to, something like this might be over 5 or 6 different halls. It is absolutely massive. So there we are, 9 till 6. On the Saturday, it's volume halls only, so those are the big buyers. Worth going to. Where you go to the volume, very, very well worth going to, especially if you're going to look at white labeling, which we're going to talk about in a little while. So 9 till 6, and then on Wednesday, the last day, 9 till 4. Plan your visit. Go there. They are amazing places. They will have seminars. So if you are looking at going forward, you're going to get some really good hints and tips from attending the seminars. And I go to these. I'll go and have a look. It's normally done by UKTI, if I remember right, UK Trade and Investment. And some of the seminars are really, really good. Very useful to listen to. And then you can start to see what is coming out, what is going on, and you can see who it is. And some of these people are really, really worthwhile listening to. They're there, they're working, they're in the trade. So here we are, improving your SEO, um, showcasing your brand. So again, brand awareness. Uh, So there we go. Retailers have made the most of mobile shopping. Mobile shopping, that is another way forward. We've already looked at the barcode, but people actually buy on their mobile phones. That is going to be the biggest increase in shopping. People walking around on their mobile phone in the lunch break. I'll have one of those. And they're not going to go so much price research. If they're on Amazon, and it says click here and it's £17.99, they're going to click here and pay £17.99. The fact that you may be buried there with somebody else is of no consequence. If they go on eBay and they look at eBay and it's on eBay and it comes up and you've listed it in a way that it's mobile friendly and you're using everything you should be using within eBay to make sure your product is there, they're going to press the click to cart, buy now. They're going to buy it. So don't just think about people like me that are sitting at a desk in front of a computer, got the laptop. Think of the people that are working on their iPhones. Think of the people that are working on their tablets. I buy stuff on the tablet. I was on Kindle the other day and bought a book. I read it over the weekend. Brilliant. I didn't have to do anything. I knew the book that I wanted. I just put the author in, the title, came up, clicked a button, and I got it. Cost me $9.99. And that book was invaluable to me over the weekend. It was absolutely superb. So there you go, fresh trends for the spring 2015. You've got all sorts of people, and sometimes you get some really, really great speakers, and occasionally you will get a lot of speakers there who, is that going to go to more? No, yes. They've got an awful lot going on there. Look at that. Okay, some of these are repeated on a daily basis, but there's an awful lot going on in the speakers arena. So when you're there, find yourself a topic that you're interested in. Go and listen to what's happening. I pick up so much information. I think, really? Is that happening? Really, is that true? Is that what is coming to meet us over the next few years? And that is how you stay ahead of the game. So when you're there, it's not just about how do you buy the stock and where do you buy the stock from. It's about knowing what is happening in the marketplace, knowing what is going to affect you, knowing what Google are going to do next, knowing where the market is going. The Chinese are selling directly to consumers now and cutting out all the importers and people like that. We've got a lot of Chinese people selling direct. Why don't you go and talk to the Chinese factories and say, do you want a distribution in the UK? Oh, and by the way, top tip for you guys. Well, it's not a top tip, it's a top offer. I have a contact who has a product they're selling very well in Australia, who is looking for a UK or European distributor. It's a fairly high-end product. When I say high-end, it sells anything between £100 for the lowest item through to probably £500–600 for the highest item. It is a marketplace that is going to become competitive, but it is not highly competitive now. I don't know what the deal is. I do know what the deal is, obviously, as in they want a distributor and I know the product. What I don't know is what the numbers are. I don't know what is in it for you. Okay, so if that makes sense, that's the bit that I don't know because I haven't had that conversation. I know one of the people who are involved in the business. I know that they're buying directly from the factory in China. I know they're already making sales, good sales in the Australian market, and they want to look at the UK and European market. So if anybody is interested in a distributorship or looking at a distributorship, drop me an email, drop me a message on the text box. I'll pick it up and I'll put you in direct contact. It's something I have thought about, but I've got so much going on dealing with everything that we're dealing with here, there are so many changes, and to deliver the quality and the content that we deliver to our people on a regular basis, I need to actually focus on this side of the business. So I do not want to take on any more product like that, especially in a new, I say new market, a new-ish but very emerging market. I don't particularly want to take anything else on. So if you do want to go down that route, come back to me, let me know. If you're watching the recording of this and you come back to me, the chances are that that opportunity is gone, but you can always ask me if I know of anything else, because you'll be surprised what comes along in casual conversation that I have with people on a regular basis. So finding your exhibitors, fairly straightforward. It'll probably be over 5 or 6 halls, so you can go in. There we go, there's a floor plan. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halls. It's broken down, it's color coded, so you can go in and you can find people. But make no mistake, when you're looking at this floor plan, the amount of mileage up, down, and back again is absolutely phenomenal. Let me just see if I can find a video for you. So let's have a look. Autumn Fair video. I'll just put NEC. Let's see what comes up. Videos. That's the stand. That's the stand. Oh, there's quite a few people putting some stuff in there. Let's have a look what that is. Don't know what it is. That's 2 people obviously going off to the autumn fair. There we go. This is one of the bulk products by the looks of it, and they're just having a wander around. So there you go. You can see you've got various different stands there. There we go. There's a good way of looking at it. Quite like that. So you've got an awful lot of mileage when you're going there. You need to actually spend time wandering about, finding out what it is that is available. And the only way to do it is to put the time in. You've got to use the shoe leather, guys. Very, very sorry, but if you want to find good product and you want to find some product that is interesting, you've got to pace and walk these aisles. You've got to know what you're looking for. You've got to go with your catalogue. You've got to take a pen. You've got to take a notebook. You've got to take your tablet. You've got to take your iPhone, and you've got to find out who is selling what and where. Because don't forget, you're not the only internet seller that is going to these events, looking at the product. Look for the new stuff that's coming out. Look for the trending stuff. Find out what it is that is working at the autumn fair. Take a few free samples with you as well, as these guys obviously have. But that gives you the sort of idea that you do actually need to get in there and go and have a look. It is a big event. Just look at your exhibitor list. So as I say, when you're in there, go in, and I'm viewing 150. Let's view 300. Let that just catch up. When you go in there, you've got to ask those questions. So we're viewing 300. I didn't actually see how many people are showing there at the moment, but we've got 5 pages and a next and a next. So, you know, you've got a couple of thousand exhibitors probably that you can walk past and have a look. But don't forget, what you've got to do is ask the questions. You need to be asking them what it is they are selling at, who they are selling to, where in the supply chain they are, and if they are far enough removed from the source of supply, who else is supplying that product. So let me just recap on that a little bit for you. The way this sort of industry works, most of the stuff that comes into the UK is imported, so let's stick with import for the purposes of what we're talking about. So item is being imported from China. There is a person bringing it or a company bringing it into the UK. They want their margin. Let's say they have an agent that wants to sell it. The agent wants his commission, so there's a bit of margin there. Let's say that agent is selling it to a wholesaler. That wholesaler wants his commission or his profit as well. So there's a profit build in there. Let's say it's the wholesaler that you're talking to. How do you then get to the agent or to the importer, or can you get direct to the factory? Because as many of those people that you can cut out of the supply chain, the cheaper you can purchase that product, the more competitive in the marketplace you can be. If a product is coming into the UK and let's say the product leaves the factory at $10 from China, with all the shipping costs and taxes and things like that, let's say landed in the UK, it's going to be $20. We now have a third party in there, an agent, that might take it up to $24. Then we've got the wholesaler that's buying it in. So we may be up to $29 or $30 for a $10 product coming out the factory. How close can you get to that factory gate? How many people are in the supply chain? That is a key question. You need to know what their supply chain is. Now, if you're dealing with some of the bigger companies, the chances are that they are going direct, but don't be taken in just by the size of the company. A lot of these companies will purchase through other companies and other importers or agents. They may not be going direct to the supply chain. Sorry, direct to the factory. They may be in a supply chain. They may be part of an extended supply chain. And every link in that chain has got some profit built in that link. So that means your cost is higher. And if you've got, for argument's sake, if you've got Dunelm going direct to the source, that's your competition. And if you've got 3 other links in that chain, all of a sudden, Dunelm are buying at $10, you're buying at $24, Dunelm are selling for the equivalent of $39, you're having to sell for the equivalent of $49, you're out of kilter on your price. So when you go in there, have a look and see who it is they are actually dealing with, and don't be frightened to ask questions. Some of them are used to the questions and some of them will answer them honestly. Others are not used to the questions and will stand back and say, we're not telling you that. Well, then you've got to say, I like your product, I want to sell your product, I need to understand how it works with you guys. I need to know, are you buying direct from the factory? Are you buying from an agent? Are you buying from an importer? Are you buying from an agent in China who is buying from the factory, who is representing the factory? So, you know, is there already 1, possibly 2 or 3 agents in China selling it? It might be going from the factory, it might be going to a Chinese agent, then it might be going to a second Chinese agent, and then it might be going to a third Chinese agent. You've got to understand where you are in this supply chain to actually buy properly, actually get the price that you should be getting so that you can remain competitive in this ever growing competitive market. And don't forget that just because you're seeing that item in a UK trade show, that you are not going to see that in America or somewhere else. You are still potentially going to see that product in other countries. So it's no good you thinking to yourself, I know, I'm going to buy these mugs, but I'm not going to sell them in the UK, I'm going to sell them into Australia. Australia have trade fairs, the Chinese send to Australia. America have trade fairs, the Chinese send to America. So those factories are not looking just at UK and Europe. The Chinese factories, the big Chinese factories, are looking globally. They're sending to America, they're sending to Australia, they're sending to wherever it needs to go in the world. And it may be the same product. It might have a different label on it, but it may be the same product. So you've got to understand that, because when you're buying your product, you've got to decide where your market is. If your market is purely UK, brilliant, fine. And if it is purely UK, why? Why aren't you selling into Europe? Why aren't you selling to the Southern Hemisphere? Why aren't you sending stuff out to the States? Why aren't you looking at South Africa? Growing markets in some of these other countries. Even Russia. It's becoming easier for us to send product to Russia now. We're sending product to Russia and I'm not having too many problems. Years ago, when I first started out, Russia was an absolute nightmare. And any of the Russian states and Baltic states were an absolute nightmare. But now it's becoming easier to get product out to those people. Some of them still a little bit of, still a few hurdles to jump, but you charge more. You get more money for it. So you get it out there. And again, rule of thumb as far as I'm concerned, everything I sell goes free post. Even where I'm selling things over to the States, with one exception, where I'm selling bulk quantity items, that will be postage upon application. And then what I tend to do is say to them, right, that is the price for that consignment. That is your total price. If it's into the Europe, that's including VAT, unless it's a business and we're swapping VAT numbers so that we don't have to deal with the VAT. If it's into the States, it's full price. Obviously, it's no VAT to Australia and America and South Africa, but there may be import duty. So I might look at how much is that import duty for me to send it to them, and I might wrap the price up and say, right, that's going to cost you $199 all in, and that includes your import duty. So I am paying the import duty for them. They're paying me. We're doing the paperwork. What you want to do is make it as easy as possible to get it to that person. So going back to the autumn fair, it is coming up on the 7th to the 10th of September. It is at the NEC in Birmingham. Go on there, go to that website, register, and you will get regular email updates. If you've never been to the autumn fair, go for at least a minimum of 1 day just to experience it. If you are seriously going with the intention of growing, starting, or buying for your existing business, take the time out of your business and go there for the longest period of time you can. And if you can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, brilliant. If you can do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, do it. But spend the first, and for you to walk around those 5 halls and walk around and browse to get the ones that you want to go back to, that is going to take you nearly 2 days just to walk around. And then don't forget, you can contact them after the fair. You don't have to buy there. I very often don't buy at the fairs. I don't give committed orders at the fairs. I normally confirm an order. I might give them an intention to purchase, subject to me going back home and doing some research, but I will possibly give them an intent on the basis that when I do my research, I find out that A, there's a market for it, B, that my competition isn't too great. So that's when you have the conversation with them. Who else are you selling it to? Who else are you supplying? What prices are you getting? And when they tell you how much it is, then your next question is, okay, what do I have to buy to get the biggest discount, and what is your biggest discount? Now, if you've got a really good salesman, he'll say, well, how many do you want? And what you've got to do is say, sorry, I need to know what I need to trade with you to actually get the biggest discount. Now, is it the quantity of the product, or is it a financial spend with them in a particular year? So it may be they'll say, Well, look, you can have carriage paid order for £400. This is the purchase price, £10 a unit. If you spend £4,000 with us in a year, your buying price is £9 a unit. Now, I have come across some people, and one wholesaler in particular, and I won't name them, I was on price band 7, which was their lowest, um, because we spent so much money with them. I was on price band 7. They had 7 price bands. What a nightmare for the sales rep. And the price bands were based on annual spend. Can you believe it? Um, you know, uh, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. You know, 7 price bands. Why would you have 7 price bands? Crazy, absolutely crazy. Now then, I've just got a question that's come through. I've just been nudged. Where are we? Is it that one? Yeah. Somebody wanted to have a look at the scanners. Right. So your scanning app here. So if you're using Apple, iTunes barcode scanner, that one there, you just do a quick search and you will find it. And it's an app that goes into the iPhone. So that one's Quick Scan. And you have one Shop Savvy, again works with iTunes, and I think this one also has the app that will work for Samsung type tablets as well. I'm pretty sure that Shop Savvy is one that works quite well, but those are a couple for you, and you'll be able to look at those. If nothing else, just put into Google barcode scanner and QR code scanner. Now, QR codes, if you don't know what a QR code is, let's just go in. Just for those that don't know, QR codes are lovely. I like QR codes. They're really pretty things. Let's have a look at images. That's the QR code. You'll have seen these on the back of items. They're just some squares in the corner normally, and they have got like a thumbprint, like a fingerprint, and that's basically what it is. So you can get apps that will actually read the QR code as opposed to the barcode. So you want both, but QR codes are just another new way of having barcodes. And by the way, if you have product that you want to do yourself, you can make your own QR codes free of charge. That is something that'll be in the members area. A lot of you, I've already explained how the barcodes work, and that's fairly straightforward. But QR codes, they're absolutely brilliant, and most of the mobile technology love them. So just enter into the into Google barcode scanner and go back to web, and you will see barcode reader in the App Store. That was the one we've just been looking at. QR code reader, Android apps on Google Play. That's another one which I've come across. That must be the same one by the looks of it. And most of the apps are pretty much free of charge on the download. One or two might be things like Google Play and things like that. They will be free of charge. I'm looking here, can't see anything chargeable. So just download those into your phone and you'll be able to go away. And I'll tell you what, next time you go to the supermarket, you want to play with it. Next time you go to the supermarket, or to Curry's, or I was going to say Comet, but they're no longer there. Curry's or Dixon's or Sainsbury's, and you're looking at that Toshiba television, just put the barcode in. Have a bit of a play with it. Do it the next time you're at the supermarket, just to get the look and feel. And you'll be surprised. Do HP baked beans. Go around the cupboards in the house or whatever it may be. Even do some food. You will be surprised what you can buy online, and you can buy food online. So they're all there. The barcodes are there. The QR codes are there. So that's all you need to do to get your scanner, is put that in, barcode scanner and or QR code app reader. And actually what I'll do is, if I copy that, I can put that over here, and you should be able to pick that up as a lump of text. So if you look on your screen and you go to the chat area now, you'll see that I've put the Google link up there as a sticky message, so you can just pick up that link and then go in from there. That will work for you quite nicely. Or you can just do that, and you can just go and copy barcode scanner and QR code reader app, put that into Google, and you will come up with those. But yeah, thank you very much for that question, and that hopefully gives you the information that you need. So no, get back into the autumn fair, get in there, have a look. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of products, and you will soon start to see who's good, bad, or indifferent. Excuse me. Quick tip for you on going to the fairs. What you want to always do is have a look at the smaller suppliers that are there as well, not just the big suppliers, because some of the small suppliers, they may just be starting out. Now, some of them may be just starting out from the point of view they have only just developed a product. So it may be a new product to market. Let's go back, take a step back to when I was talking to you earlier, and we talked about the beer buddies, the bottle openers that sat on the fence in different shapes. They had just started their business and they'd just brought them in from China. So it was a new startup situation. Product was attractive. It was a very, very small stand, so don't rule out the small stands, because they may have a way to get to selling. And another question to ask these people is, do you drop ship? If you don't want to buy stock, or if you're looking at the high-end market, so let's say you're looking at items that are going to sell for £1,000, £2,000, £3,000, ask them if they will drop ship. And if they're drop shippable and they're happy for you to advertise their items on the basis that you're doing them at this price, it's costing you £700, you're selling it at £1,500, absolutely fine. You can always do that. Do not be afraid to ask those questions. And again, if you've got somebody that has a range of products and you can drop ship them and they are a few £100s to a few £1,000s, then why not? It's not costing you anything. You can take a decent margin. You can pay them a higher price. They've got the headache of logistics, but you've got the opportunity to sell product. And you can sell their product for them, and you're doing it on a dropship basis. And those are the types of questions that I ask when I'm going round. Can I dropship? With some companies, it's a case of no, you've got to buy this. This is your minimum spend. This is the requirement to get the best discount. No, we have no discount available. It's that price and that price only. There's no room for negotiation. I've never come across that yet. There's always been room for negotiation. But the negotiation normally depends on how much you are actually physically going to spend with them, and whether you are going to spend a significant amount of money, or it may be just a very small amount, and you're going to be treated accordingly. Let's put it this way. If you go on the stand and you say to them, I want to spend £1,000, and you get the rep with the piece of paper saying, okay, fill that in, give me your name and address details, let me know what you want and we'll sort it out after the show, then you know you're not a really big customer. If you go onto that stand and you say, I want to spend £1,000, and they say, come with me, have a cup of coffee, sit down, take a weight off, what is it you want to do, and they start having a conversation with you, you're obviously going to be a reasonable customer for them. So always have a look at that. So Autumn Fair International, go and have a look. You are still in time to purchase items for the Christmas market. If you are going to buy items from their for the Christmas market, make sure you understand the delivery arrangements and make sure you start getting them online as quickly as you possibly can. Now then, issues on getting them online on eBay and Amazon. eBay, if you've got them coming in, you can put a footnote in there and you can put a delivery time in there of when it is anticipated. eBay are not as, let's use the word strict. They're not as strict as Amazon on the fact that Amazon state in their terms and conditions that you must have the product ready to ship. Now, very difficult on stuff that some of the stuff we do, some of the personalization, we can have the product ready for shipping, but it's still got to be finished because we've got to add to it. We've got to do something to it before it goes out. So in theory, I shouldn't be selling that type of product on Amazon. In practice, we sell it. You can put a longer delivery lead time on Amazon, but don't forget, the longer the delivery lead time, that actually has an adverse effect on your search rankings, so your position will reduce. So just bear that in mind when you're actually doing that. But if you're going to commit and purchase a product from the show, get it online, take paid orders. Get paid orders before you take receipt of the stock. And when an order comes in for that item, you may have put in the text somewhere, the items will be due for dispatch on the 31st of October onwards. Drop that customer an email. If there's a phone number on the order, give them a quick call and say, right, you do realize we've put it in there, the text does state on it, they will not be ready for dispatch because they're on their way to us now till the 31st of October. You are happy with that. You might get one or two people that will turn around and say, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, can I cancel then? I wanted it tomorrow. Then you're just going to cancel. But if you do that customer service bit, what you're not going to get then is you're not going to get detrimental comments coming back. The tip for you here is that in Amazon, if you're listing the product and you're listing it from scratch in Amazon, put in the condition note the fact that that item isn't going to be ready until the 31st of October. Then make a note that you've got to go back in and take that bit of wording out from that item or from those items. Now that is very easy to do if you're using spreadsheet uploads. If you're not using spreadsheet uploads, then you can go in and do that manually. Most of you know how to do that. If you don't, then look when the new website, when the new membership site comes out, look at one of the videos in there. There's a couple of videos in there that will show you how to do all that type of thing quite easily. We will make sure that you've got those. So autumn fair, thousands and thousands and thousands of items for you to purchase. Now don't be surprised that when you're walking around, you're talking to these people, that some of these items aren't coming in until next year. What you should be doing at the autumn fair, you should be going there to order for the spring. So the whole idea of the autumn fair in reality, although a lot of product is available and is available all year round, the idea behind the autumn fair is you go in the autumn to buy your stock ready for the spring. So you're putting in the orders, it's going into the factory. Some people, some companies and some sellers have already ordered next year's stock, already done and dusted. There is some companies out there that have already ordered Christmas 2015 stock based on Christmas 2013's sales figures. They've already bought their Christmas 2014 Christmas stock in 2012. I could end up getting tongue-tied and confused here, but you get the idea. Some people have very long lead times and they're planning a long time in advance. So some of this stuff, you might be walking around and saying, why am I seeing barbecues? We're coming into autumn, because you're buying them for delivery next spring. So that's the autumn fair. The next one that comes along in Birmingham is the spring fair. And again, the spring fair is a great little event. Let's just give you their trailer. Whoops. Take out the noise. There we go. So you can see, when you see what I mean by the amount of people that go in and what you're looking for, you know, just everybody is in there. It is absolutely massive, and you've got to go round these places and decide what areas you want to purchase. Are you going to be a niche trader, or are you going to be a jack of all trades trader and sell anything and everything? What is it that you're going for? What catches your eye? And just think, how many of these people in there are purchasing for the internet? So this is where that QR code scanner has got to work for you. The barcode scanner, you need to be able to take those with you to allow yourself the opportunity to go in and find out what your competition is. So again, you will always get the catalogue as you go in. You will always get all the information that you need. And look at it, it's just massive. There is so much that you can actually purchase there. It's brilliant. But you've got to, some people are there very focused. Some people going for the first time, thinking, "Wow, how do I do it?" Now you can see what I mean about the queues. There you go. There's a brilliant view of it from the top. And a lot of those guys there are there to sell. That is what they're there for. And I'm sure that was me in one of those fast-moving ones. Probably not. And there you are. There's the lectures. There's the people you can hear from, talk to. Some of you might recognize one or two people. That one was a bit of a famous person, I believe. Um, you know, uh, that was obviously videos coming up for the last one that went through. But, they're on a continuous loop. Yeah, 2014. Uh, you know, I'm letting this run so you can see the ideas. Most of these stands I've walked past many, many times. Some of these people in here I will have dealt with. But that is what it's all about. You get in there, but you've got to ask the key questions. A number of these people will be retailers where they're looking for footfall customers. So they're looking for the impulse buy. You've also got to look at the product that's on sale there and think, how do I photograph that? How do I get that product in front of my customer from the point of view that they are going to see it online and they're going to say, yes, please, I want to buy one of those. They've got to be able to see it online in the way that they would see it in a shop so that they would be buying it. The last thing you want is to take a load of product and the photographs to be appalling. Ask the companies for their photographs. Most of them will have decent quality photographs that you can use to actually put together and make your sales page. Now, if they've got their own photographs and you're using that, try and tweak them. Try not to use them the same. If you've got a photograph and you can crop it to make it bigger and it still looks good, use that. Absolutely brilliant. Do something different with it. Or if you're an eBay seller, then make sure you turn all of their photographs into a little video and embed the video into your eBay store. And if you're an Amazon seller, create the video in YouTube with a link to your Amazon store, and also create a separate channel with a link to your eBay store. Those type of things we'll be talking about in more detail in other courses. If you're into the nursery side of the business and you want to do something in the nursery arena, as in, prams, pushchairs, things like that, Harrogate is the place to be. I used to buy hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items. I was in the nursery industry for many, many, many years, and Harrogate was a place that I was every year at the Harrogate International Nursery Fair. And we used to bring stuff directly in from China. Cheap and cheerful buggies, we used to sell them for about 20 quid. They were coming in from China, 4 or 5 quid to us at the time. We used to sell thousands of them, containers of the bloody things. Absolutely loads. Brilliant business to be in. So, you know, um, very, very worthwhile going up to Harrogate as well. You always see a lot of new stuff up there. It is always really worth the journey. So that is good. Just a message to say that Terapeak, somebody's using Terapeak on eBay. Brilliant tool, absolutely brilliant. In one of our training sessions, we go into Terapeak in massive detail. Terapeak is very, very good at finding out pricing. What you'll find though with the barcode scanners and the QR code scanners is that they're looking at the bigger picture. Terapeak doesn't always necessarily find the bigger picture. It can be a little bit too focused. So it's worth using both Terapeak and your QR code and your barcode scanners. That use both. You can never have too many of these things to actually see where your competition is, who is selling what, and especially if it's worldwide competition. Very, very worthwhile doing. So again, by the way, with NEC, going back to the NEC for a minute, nec.co.uk, and go to their what's on. And if you go to trade, you will see all of the opportunities that you have here. Now then, you might look at some of these ones that are on here and think, that isn't for me. Crufts, that isn't for me. Be surprised. There's some deals to be done at Crufts because you have a lot of people that create, import, bring things in that don't know how to get them to the UK market, or they're looking for UK, I'm going to say distributors, they're looking for people to sell their product online for them because they don't want to get involved with that. There's an awful lot going on. You know, the gadget show, the photography show, the clothes show, whatever it is you're into, there are trade events going on, and there is opportunity in these trade events for you to actually go in and make money. What I will say is, don't go on the basis that I've got to go to every trade event. Go to the ones that you have an interest in. If you're into weddings, go to the national wedding event. Massive business weddings, we sell some stuff that's targeted to the wedding market. Massive business, only a small range, but we do it, and it's an expensive range. The margins that we're working on are extremely, extremely good. Several £100 return per order. So, you know, that is really good stuff to be involved with sometimes. So think about the events, but just go to nec.co.uk, click on trade, choose the type of trade that you want. You know, if antiques is your thing, go for antiques. When do you want to go? Okay, I picked the wrong one there, didn't I? Let's have a look. Business search. Okay, so you've got, what's that? The National Franchise Exhibition. You may want to get involved in franchising. Another actually good place to look is franchising, because you may not want to pay 25,000, 50,000, 500,000 for a franchise. You may not want to pay £4,000 or £5,000 for a franchise. But look at what is being franchised. Look at the products that are being franchised out there. Then go away and do some research to see who's selling them. Just because they're franchising a brand, and it may be a particular product they're selling, doesn't mean to say that you cannot source that product elsewhere without paying the franchise fee, the ongoing franchise fees. So, you know, but again, that is coming up 3rd and 4th of October, and I've been to the franchise show many times. When I was in the finance business, the franchise show was one I was at every year when we were selling money at a cost. In the good old days before the crash, we would lend money on behalf of a couple of banks, to franchisees, and I would go there so that we could talk to the franchisors, so that we could actually hook up with them, so that we were the money supply for the franchisees when they went in to actually purchase their franchise. And there's a lot of products being sold at franchise, not just all services. There are some product styles, and you can go in there and you just come away with an idea, and it may be a day out. I go to some very, very, very obscure trade events, and you'll be surprised what I come away with. And I've come away with some damn good stuff where I've made a lot of money because possibly they're at the wrong trade event. And the other one to go to, and if you're into doing stuff which involves the outdoors, as it were, then go to Glee. That again is coming up in September, so straight after the autumn fair you have Glee, and that one is all about outdoor stuff. So let's have a look. What have we got? Promote new products. UK real market. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Try that. Yeah, so here we are. There's always a little video. I have dealt with a number of people who trade at Glee, show at Glee. It is more the pet and garden side of things. I actually like Glee. It's a nice trade show. You are dealing with the garden centres and the nurseries, but that actually has an opportunity for you, because if you're dealing with the garden centres, their markup is higher normally than any other retail. So if you're looking at homeware and gifts, you may not be able to get the markup. If you're looking at, let's fast forward this a bit. I don't really see it all being built. You get the idea. It does take a little while for them to get up and running. When you're dealing with people who are in that type of industry, what you find is you are getting an awful lot of good markup. It is a great place to find product. We currently sell an awful lot of product that we found at Glee, and we are maintaining margin. So we have got product that is on sale. Some of it is drop ship product, and we might sell an item for £397 on a drop ship basis, and we're pulling around about 120 net out of that. So 397 to 120, that's after my eBay fees, Amazon fees, website fees, that is after delivery costs, that is after PayPal fees, that is after credit card fees, etc., etc. We are still pulling around £120 net off a £400 sale. So I would sooner sell more of those £400 sales than selling hundreds of sales where I'm only making a few quid. So if I can make 120 quid off one, and if I'm making fiver off everything else, you can do the math yourself. I'm better off selling 2 or 3 of those rather than having dozens and dozens and dozens of the ones that come out at £5. So have a look at some high-end product, and if you can get drop ship agreements so that you're not stocking it, even better. But Glee is a very, very good show to go to. The same questions apply. Where are you in the supply chain? Who are you buying your product from? Are you buying direct from the manufacturer? If it's a live product, are you buying it direct from the grower? Where are you in the food chain? Are you selling to Amazon direct? Are you selling to Tesco's? Are you selling to B&Q? Are you selling to Wix? Wherever it may be. Who are these people that you're selling to? So that you can get a good feel for where these things are going. So that is Glee. NEC. Obviously, for people who are down in London, you have also got Earl's Court, and if you just put in the exhibition centres for the UK. You will find lots of them. There's local ones, so there's some up in Llandudno for people that are in Wales. You've got some that are in Devon and Cornwall. You've got little trade events. You've got trade events up in Blackpool. You have lots of mini trade events. So do the search online. I've given you here some of the big ones to look at, but do a search online. Other places for you to buy. Now, some of you already know that this is something that I use quite a lot. And where are we? Current auction news e-zine. So you're looking at this. All right, okay. Not available. Marvelous. Can I go back one? It's not going to let me go back. Let's try reload. Live is good. Oh, here we go. It was obviously just a glitch. So, auction news. It's a publication that you subscribe to, and it will give you all of the auctions that are coming up on a weekly basis. And you are able to go into here. Now, there are two ways of getting this. You either have it delivered by post, which I do, or you have it online. I actually have both. I have it by post and online. So Simon Charles, they might have a load of bankrupt stock in there. They may have some stuff that has come in from bailiffs, insolvency practitioners, the sheriffs, the high courts, bankruptcies, that type of thing. Some of it may be new, some of it may be used. These are great. It doesn't matter whether you're selling on eBay, Amazon, Play, your own website. These are great places to buy things from. So auction news is a fantastic place to go. Now, it may be that you want to get into some really high-end stuff, and you might want to buy some cheap and cheerful machinery. Somebody was telling me recently that they bought a load of machinery for their business out of an auction, and it cost them probably about 10% of what it would have done if they purchased it new. So there we have a list of all of the UK auction houses for that particular week. And there we are. And because I get the hard copy, I don't use this very often. And again, Nottingham, Marchingham and London. So there are auctions here. You've got cars, you've got white goods, you've got settees, you've got some bankrupt stock, and actually see what that is. Oh, juicers or something along those lines. You've got bathroom fittings. There's an awful lot of bathroom stuff. There must have been quite a few people gone bankrupt over the past few years. And don't forget, some of this stuff may not be current. Some of this stuff, maybe the baths and bathrooms, they could be companies that went into liquidation 2, 3, 4 years ago, and the stock is only just being released. So it could be that the stock has got a little bit of age to it. If you're into trucks and vans, things like that, that's there. Sale by tender. Anything that's sale by tender, absolutely brilliant. Now, okay, you've got to go in and do some work. And Sherlock's, I've done this before now, and I've bought product by tender. Basically, what you're doing is they're going to give you a stock list, and you are going to tell them how much you are prepared to pay to purchase that stock and which bits of stock you're going to purchase. Now, sometimes it will be a take-all deal. Other times they will split it, depending what it is. So, and this is where you can make good money, folks. This is where you can really make good money. If you go to the tender side of it, so many people cannot be bothered. That's the truth of it. They just cannot be bothered to actually sit there and do the research, have a look and say, that's what I'm prepared to pay for it. And put it in, and because it's sale by tender, there is no guarantee you're going to get it. But because so few people do it, there is a very good chance that you'll do okay. And when you are doing a tender, talk to the company that is doing the tender. Ask them what they're looking for. There is no harm. A bit like going along to these trade events, there is no problem in saying, well, what are you looking for it? How many people have you got who have looking at tenders? Have you got one? Have you got five? Have you got 10? Have you got 20? Is it such a popular tender there's 150? Are they UK? Are they international? Now, sometimes some of the stock that comes up by tender is not allowed to be resold in the UK. It must be for export. And you know what? So many people say, I can't buy that, it's for export only. eBay Australia, Amazon.com, America, eBay.com, America, export. Buy it. If it says export only, do you know that puts off so many people from buying it? It drives the cost down. It drives the value down because nobody wants to. Everybody's heard of cars being bought second-hand and exported out to all sorts of countries. I'm not talking about cars. Sometimes there is stock that you can buy in the UK that you cannot sell again in the UK. You've got to sell it out of the UK. Brilliant. eBay FR in France. Get it translated into French. Get it sent over to Amazon in fulfillment. Get it onto Amazon FR as well. Let Amazon take the strain. Even send your eBay sales through to Amazon as well and let them fulfill it. Why not? Do it. But a tender is a great way of moving forward. And just go into Google, search by tenders, or go for this publication and pay them I think it's £160 a year. I think that's the full package. You can get cheaper, 90 quid or something like that, and you just get the online version or whatever. But always have a look. This is one of my weekly readings. I read this magazine every week. Turnover, thank you. You just don't know what you're going to get. There was recently an auction of very large animals in crates, and you know what? I was so tempted. I was so tempted, but I'm over here in France. I wanted to go and see it, and I wasn't going to be able to get back in time. I would have bought the lot. I would have bought the absolute lot of them if I could. And don't forget, if there is something in there and you go, aha, I'll have all of that. Now, they may have got it up there ready for auction, but if you're going to go in with a take-all deal, talk to the person in charge of the auction. Or if it's a liquidation and they've sent it through to the auction house, see if you can get to talk to the liquidator and say, look, I'm really interested in that stock. Rather than giving you the hassle of having it all auctioned and sorting it into small bits and sending it out, I would actually take everything. If I was to give you, I don't know, £10,000 as a take-all deal, let's say it's 100 grams worth of stock retail, they might just turn around and say, yeah, okay. At the end of the day, in the bankruptcy side of things, bankrupt stock, the loss adjuster, the official receiver, the person in charge of dealing with that asset is only interested in getting as much as they can in the shortest period of time. Because what they've got to do is they've got to get their fees paid. Now, in the pecking order, if a company business goes into liquidation, then the first person that is going to be paid, if it's in an auction, is going to be the auctioneer. The second person is then going to be the administrator, the person that is looking after the bankruptcy, the official receiver. If you're doing the deal direct with the official receiver and not with the auction house, then obviously the official receiver is going to be looking for a little bit less because there's going to be no auction fees, there's going to be no additional storage, there's going to be no transportation, there's going to be no sorting the product out. If you're saying, I see that warehouse, it's got that lot in there, I'm willing to take a gamble and I'll buy the lot for you for X. I've done it. I've done it numerous times. I have purchased from these type of opportunities And I've gone in and I've had the conversation, and what are you prepared to take? And I've purchased for almost nothing. In an auction, I purchased a pallet of stock years ago that got me a couple of grand return. I purchased it for a fiver. And when I say a return, I mean a net return after I'd paid all the fees and postage and packaging and things like that. You know, you can go out there and you can find deals. So Auction News is a great weekly publication. Now, some of it, yes, they're going to have commercial stuff in there that's possibly going to be of no interest. Again, here, look, private treaty sale, over 145k retail and cost of exclusive designer ready-to-wear fashion apparel, luxury accessories, giftware, photographic equipment and retail props. So this one by private treaty is basically the same as a tender almost. It's you going in saying, I want to buy all of this from you for this amount of money. Okay, you go in, you buy it, you have a look at it, you'll have an inventory, you will tell them what you're prepared to pay for it, and then it is down to you. Once you've purchased it, once you've got it, and once it's away, it's completely up to you then to make your money out of it. But you can buy like this, and a lot of people don't like buying in private treaty. They want to, so many people want to go and buy an auction. So many people say, I've got to go to an auction. Well, the auction houses have got smart to this. So if you want to go to iBidder, you want to go to BidSpotter, you will find now that an awful lot of those auctions have been broken down into small lots. 5-6 years ago, I would be buying by the pallet, by the lorry load, by the container load. Now they have broken them down into small lumps because Fred in the shed, who's got his little business going there, or he's got his car boot sale business over here, or he's got his market stall over there, or he just sells 20 items a week through eBay. Those are the people that they're attracting because they can get more money from it. And what a lot of people don't add in to the auction price is, okay, that's gone on there, that's cost me 100 quid. And they go to make the payment, or they've registered the card online and they've done it through online, and all of a sudden they've got 100 quid plus that, okay, 120, plus the 15% auctioneer's fee, plus the auctioneer's VAT. All of a sudden that's cost you 140 quid instead of what you thought was 100. So it's not a brilliant sale a brilliant purchase that you thought it was going to be. So a lot of people, when they go into auctions, they actually forget. So if you're buying through an auction, remember there is an auctioneer's fee and there's VAT. Plus there's your transportation from the auction, wherever it is. And you've also, if you're hiring a vehicle, you've got to hire the vehicle. Then you've got to get it into your own storage. Then you've got to photograph it. You've got to get it ready. So you need to be buying really, really cheap. So let's have a look. This one here, 140, over 145k retail and cost of exclusive designer wear and apparel. Now I'm not going to go into this in detail. You can see the writing that's on the screen. 145k retail. Probably, if it is top end, they'll probably take 20 to 25 grand. If it's not all top end, if it's mainly fixtures and fittings, then you may get that for 10 to 15 grand. That's what I'd be looking at in those sort of scenarios. Me personally buying it, I would not be wanting to pay more than about 20-25% of its retail value. That would be on the basis that I understood that the retail value was good, it's evidential, and I could make money on it. Purchase that I made a number of years ago, there was a watch company, a jeweller's, a watch supplier up in Scotland that went into liquidation, and I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to buy all the watches, and I did. I bought the lot, and one of the nice things with watches, I was able to drive up to Scotland by car and put them all in the car because obviously they're small. I did have watch boxes for some, and I had some good quality stuff. I had some branded stuff in there as well. It wasn't just cheap and cheerful. But I paid anything from 50p to 40, £50. Now the 40, £50 watches we sold in auction on eBay from anything from £200 to £300, and they were proper branded. They had certificates, they had paperwork, they had everything with them. They were genuine. And the stuff that we bought for 50p, we were selling at £10 to £15. I made an absolute fortune. But I went in with a take-all purchase, and I drove up to Scotland in an estate car, and I got the whole lot in the back of the estate car. So there is opportunity. You have to be looking and aware of it. So great publication. Go and have a look and see. I do not get anything for telling you to go and have a look at them. That's just the way the company works. And obviously you can go on to bidspotter.co.uk or ibidder.co.uk. Those are two more great sites. Now then, I want to get back into auction news. Now this is the other thing that you need to do. Now I know we have gone on and this is quite a lengthy call, and I'm really grateful for you for hanging on in there. What I'm trying to do is give you as much information. If we were in a meeting room, this would take a whole day, and we're condensing it into about 2.5, 3 hours, and it is really good. But don't forget, when this is all done, it is being recorded, including all the interruptions. It is being recorded, so you will be able to look at the recording as well. Now, these people also do something called the insolvency report. Oh, here we go again. It doesn't like me on this, does it? Till I do it the second time round. Right, that's better. Weird. Technology for you. Perhaps it's because I'm in France. Now, the insolvency report is great. The insolvency report tells you who has gone into liquidation. Again, you can have this. It's from the same company, and you can have this. And there we go. So this tells you the name of the company that's gone into liquidation. So we're in the building side of it here. Let me come out of that and go for something a little bit more interesting. Engineering, financial and professional. I'm looking here if you're wondering. Where are we? Printing, leisure and sport. Okay, let's have a look at that. There we go. So let's have a look. What have we got? Anything interesting in there? In pursuit of leisure, limited operation of the golf club. Probably not quite what we're looking for. Performing arts. Okay, let's go to there, and right, because it's telling you here what these people do. So that's a sports club, one-to-one gym, gymnasium. So you might look at something like that, one-to-one gym. Right, let's put one-to-one gym limited into Google. Have a look. Okay, it was a gymnasium. Could you buy all their equipment? Was it a good gymnasium? Was it a rubbish gymnasium? That you don't know because you haven't looked yet. But if it is a good gymnasium, then obviously you would go in and you would then make a phone call to this number, or you would look at doyledavis.com and you would go there and you'd say, I want to speak to the official receiver, please, regarding this here. And you could just say to them, what are you looking for? What is it that you actually want to sell this stuff? And he might say to you, well, we think it's worth about 15,000, so if somebody comes along at 3 grand, we'll probably take it. You might go and get yourself half a dozen treadmills, half a dozen bikes, a load of rowing machines and weights and things like that. You're going to make some money. But you've got to do the research. The chances are one-to-one gym had a website. The chances are and the chances are very high that their website is still running, because the websites don't get taken down until they don't pay a bill, and they don't normally pay a bill because it's an annual bill. So they normally have that running. The website is still there, so you're able to go and get a good idea of what it was about. Here we are, retail, wholesale, import, export. Um, and it's going to tell you here, convenience store. Well, you may or you may not want to purchase some stock from there. Supplier of plastic pipes and fittings. You know, I'm pointing to the screen as I'm showing you this. I'm actually with my finger underlining it. I think that's quite funny. Retailer of tiles, a wholesaler. Okay, campaign price limited. What was it that they used to wholesale? So go in, find them on Google, go and have a look. Their website, chances are going to be there. If you're interested, phone the number or go on there, ask to speak to the official receiver. Now, if they ask you to put something in writing, not a problem. Put yourself a one-page letter in writing and write to them and say, I'm interested in making a purchase of, and it could be a take-all deal, or it could be a partial deal. But whichever you're going to go for, drop them a note, ask them, and see what you can do. You know, retail of specialised items, present home gift limited. Okay, specialised items, is there profit in that? Are they selling high-end good gifts? Whatever has happened, these companies, for whatever reason, have gone into liquidation. Normally in a liquidation like this, there is stock. The stock is being sold on behalf of the company by the official receiver. The first person to get any money out of that company is going to be the official receiver. So it is in his interest to dispose of that stock as quickly as he possibly can. So why not get this publication, and why not use it? Because you can make some good money. Retailer of porcelain tiles and associated products. Now the chances are that somewhere like that, Tile and Stone Depot, there's probably an absolute boatload of stuff in there, and you can pick it up for virtually nothing. Stuff like that tends to be very, very cheap because it's awkward to transport, it's heavy, it's costly. All they're looking to do is get rid at whatever price. I've picked up paving slabs and tiles and things like that for pennies, absolute pennies, because to these people it's a nightmare. To me it's profit, because if I've got a pallet of tiles or a pallet of paving slabs, I know how much it's going to cost me to send a pallet from one end of the country to the other. So all I've got to do is build that into my price. So if I'm buying retail £1,000 worth of product for 10 quid because it's awkward and heavy, and let's say I'm buying 26 pallets of it, that's an articulated lorry load. Okay, storage issue, but we'll come on to that. So I'm going to buy 26 pallets, and I've done this. So you buy it, you have it come through, you've bought it at £5 a pallet. There's £800 to £1,000 worth retail. You put that on eBay at £200 a pallet. It's cost you a fiver. Let's say it's cost you per pallet £10 to get it delivered to you because it was an articulated wagon, so it's worked out at £10 per pallet to get to you. So you got £15 pallet cost. It's going to cost you £50 to get it shipped out, so you've got £65 pallet cost. It's then going to cost you in eBay fees around about 30 quid to actually advertise it on eBay, and you know you're making £100. So you've got 26 pallets, you've made £2,600. Or you go down a slightly different route, and what you do is you auction it, and you start your auction off at 99p, and you auction it a pallet at a time, and over a period of time, it's going to make whatever it's going to make. But what you're hoping is you're going to tell them that it's £1,000, and they're going to get. People don't want to mess with that. You will find there are so many people that don't want to get involved in those type of scenarios. And why? Because it sounds like hard work. Yeah, there's a little bit of work in there, But if you want to make the real money, what have you got to do? A little bit of work. Um, you've got to do a bit. So, Windmill Markets Limited, um, post office and convenience store. So you could be buying a shop clearance. You could be buying all the food, all the rest of it. And there are people out there on eBay. If you're buying, most people don't look at this. Hardly anybody knows about places like this to buy stuff from. So on eBay, let's say you've gone to a convenience store or you've got the manifest and you say, right, okay, I'll buy the lot for you from you for £2,000. There may be 20, £30,000 worth of retail stock in there, and you're going to sell it on eBay for, I don't know, 6 grand, something like that in total. So you're going to make probably a couple of grand profit, and that's going to end up on a market trader's stall. So he's going to be selling Mars bars at half price. You've bought them at 20% or less, perhaps 10%. He's going to sell them at half price. He's happy, you're happy, eBay are happy because they've made the money, Liquidator's happy, job done. Everybody is happy. Yes, there is some work involved. Does that matter? You put it together as a pallet. So you sell it as a mixed pallet or a part mixed pallet or several boxes of product. You actually put it together. You're not going to sell it individually, tins of beans and packets of Mars bars. You're actually going to create a value palette of product. So this is a brilliant organization to actually look at, and it is Auction News. And because their website isn't playing ball with me, let's do it that way. So you want to make a note of this, Auction News, and you can go in and subscribe, and here are your costs. So let me just increase that slightly for you. There we go. So I normally have the annual, yeah, I'm gold. So I have both. So yeah, that must be the package I'm on. What's the difference between gold and silver? Yeah, I get it postal. I have it delivered to the UK actually, so that's not a problem. Um, so there we are. I have both of them. I have the weekly um, insolvency report, and I have the weekly auction news, and they both come over to me. And yeah, I pay £170 a year, and they are invaluable. That is £170 worth paying. As I say, they don't know that. Well, actually, they do know that I tell people about them because I've had permission to do so, and to actually show their stuff. So I am in communication with these guys. Um, so what I would say is have a look at it. It is a brilliant place to find stuff that you can make money from. Absolutely brilliant place. So Auction News is another one. And oops, Stock Solutions. Now, some of you know I've rattled on about this guy before. Gary, who is a good friend of mine, he sends out emails on a regular basis. He runs a business called Stock Solutions. This is just an old email that I've got from him. So you can see he sends out offers, and every time it's different. It is always different. Get on his mailing list. So this one here, brand new premium wooden paint brushes, 1 inch, what is it, 12 per carton, 9,576 per pallet, your price 35p. And then offer to, so there we are, you will get some information. So he's given you the data there, and you can work it from there. Now, there's always room for negotiation here. You'll be able to always get something at a different price. So he does return grade, so sofas and furniture, motocross bikes. This was one that he had a while ago. I remember this one now because I can remember looking at these. Oops. That's that. Is that what I want? Preview. Why is it not letting me preview? Okay, well let's do, let's open it over here. Let's open it on the correct screen. So there you go. You might. It's okay. When I do these webinars, I have actually 3 monitors, and you're seeing everything on one monitor. I've got the other 2 monitors there for information. So there's some bikes there that he's selling, and if I click on that one, that's going to open on the. Oh, it's no open there. So you could have been looking at those. This is an old one, so obviously it's not current. But there you go. 42 units available. Your price €146, so around about 120 quid, something like that. Coming in at the time. Got some quad bikes there, 61 units, €372 a unit. So there's lots of things here. Ladies wellies, full breakdown, 5,840 pairs available, £2.05 a unit. I would be wanting them a little bit cheaper than that, but again, you would go here, ladies wellies, offer 6. So let's have a look at offer 6. Open it up, and there we go. We've got some nice little wellies in there. You've got the sizes, you've got the counts. You've only got one photograph, so perhaps it's all the same. I don't know. But all the information is in here. Is there a second sheet, third sheet? No, it was just that one sheet. So you would buy those. You could go to town and sell those all day long. And then what you'd be looking at is if they're costing you £2 a piece. I don't know what the retail was on that. Did he put the retail value in there? No. Your price, £2.05. You'd want to find out what they were worth retail. Let's say they normally retail at 20 quid. You're going to buy them in, so you'll sell some at you'll sell them all day long at £12.99 free post. You might go to £14.99 free post, and you'll make some money, and you'll be left with some. You're not going to sell them all at that. Let's say you're left with 840 pairs. Fine, job them off, sell them to somebody else who's got a market stall. So you bring them in now. If that was an offer that was now, you're thinking, right, it's August, I want them for October, September, as the weather changes. If you're UK, or if you're in Australia watching this, you might be thinking in January, right, I want those ready for July as we go into our cold time. So you will think about that from a seasonal point of view. You're going to have to get them. You're going to have to get them to you. You're going to have to get them boxed, ready, labelled, whatever it's going to do, and you're going to have to market them. But then you'd go to Gary and you'd say, okay, Gary, look, what's he going to take for those? You know, 205. I need to get $14.99 in the marketplace. That's going to be quite hard. I could really do with those coming in at 1.5. So you go to him and you'd have the conversation. He'll go back to the person that's got them and say, look, I've got somebody who wants to take all deal at 1.5. Personally, if it was me, I'd be going in and say, look, Gary, it's way too priced. Go and find out what he wants, but I'm looking for a 50% reduction on that. Now, Gary knows me well enough that he's going to come back with probably a 70 to 75%. We're probably going to bat it back 3 or 4 phone calls, and then we'll agree a price. So I'm going to go in really low. He's going to come back midway. We're then going to negotiate, and we'll end up somewhere where I'm happy. We have had conversations where I've said, sorry, Gary, I can't do it at that. I really can't. I love the idea of buying it. I'd take them all, but I don't want to do it at that price. He's got to come down in his price. So again, you would have a look. So here is the guy, Gary Huant. Absolutely brilliant guy. I've worked with him quite a bit. I've bought things from him on a number of occasions, and I've had absolutely no problems with any of the stock that I've bought. I've had no problems with dealing with the people. There's all his details just there. So grab that. There's his UK mobile number. He's got a German number. And you will very often find that, again, somebody like this will have something that is in Europe, and it'll be a case it's got to come out of Italy, it's coming out of Germany, it's coming out of France, it's coming out of Spain, and you could end up with a whole load of stuff. But again, this is the type of person who will have ready for you a load of stuff. Let me just, I'll take that out of there. Let me just put that over into the message area for you. Paste that in. There you go. So that's gone in there. Give him a ring. Have a look at his website. Get on his mailing list. You will get an email on a, I'm not going to say a daily basis. It's not every day, but it's almost every day, except for when he goes on holiday. Sorry, folks, just a quick glass of sip of water. You know, and something like this, again, glass dining table dining tables. Now, that's a product that you'll see probably IKEA, John Lewis, wherever. I don't know what the quality of that is. The chances are that comes flat packed. The chances are that that is ready to go by a courier. And it could be that if that is flat packed, and that might be a phone call you're going to make to the guy, or drop him an email. You know, stunning dining table with frosted glass top, aluminium metal, packed in 2 boxes. Okay, 2 boxes. So he's given you some of the ideas there. Quantity 200 units per truck. Your price 67 units, 67 euros a unit. What price is it in the UK? You go and do your research. But once you've done your research, you can decide, do you want some? And if you do, you know, brilliant. Now, when I'm sending stuff out to other countries, what I tend to do is I do it free post. And when I'm sending stuff out to, say, the States, free post, then what I will do is I will work out what it is going to cost me beforehand. So if the item is going to go, let's say it's going to go by DHL, obviously we're dealing with volumetric weight when it's going to the States, more than we're dealing with physical weight. Now, if the physical weight is greater than the volumetric weight, the physical weight will be what you're charged on. But normally, unless it's a concrete block, and I do sell concrete products, so normally, unless it's a concrete block, you're normally going to end up with a volumetric weight. So all you do beforehand is you look at your product, you work out how it's going to be packed, how it's going to be wrapped, you'll do your measurements, you'll sort out your volumetrics, you'll put it into your price finder. Now, depends on how you're doing it. You can use parcel to go, parcel to ship, you can go to DHL direct, you can use Interparcel. There's another one which escapes my memory at the moment. There are a number of parcel companies out there. Have a look who's doing it the cheapest, and parcel prices internationally change a little bit on a regular basis. So let's say it's coming in at £45 to send it by UPS, DHL over to the States. Then all you'll do is add perhaps 10% onto that, because there's no VAT, remember. So then you'll have £45, add 10% to allow for fluctuation in pricing, and also to allow for a little bit of currency, and then just add that to the price and do your dollar conversion and send it in the, you know, add that to your selling price for the States. So it's free post. United States, they get it at that price. That's the price you're selling it at to them in the States. So they get it at the free post model. You're listing it on the .com site. You're listing it in the States. You're not listing it on the .co.uk site to sell it in the States. You're listing it on the .com site as if you're in the States. So you're sending it to the States free post, and you're advertising it to them in their currency. Well, in fact, on eBay, PayPal does that all for you anyway, so it just converts it. So you're selling it at the price that you need for the States, or you're putting the price in. If you're not doing it through the conversion route, you're doing it where you've converted it yourself into dollars. And PayPal have a tool, and eBay have a tool which is linked to PayPal, and they will give you the currency conversion. and that also then includes their fees, so you get an idea that their fees have been taken into account. So you just literally work it out and list it with that price in that country on that site. And you do the same with Australia. You list it in .au, and if you want to do it in Europe, and you can do it in euros as well, and you can do free post anywhere in the world. What I tend to find, I'll give you let's move off this page a minute because that's we'll have a look at this other company in a second. What I tend to find in sending stuff internationally and using free post is in the UK market, yes, I might have competition. In the international market, I tend not to have a great deal of competition. If somebody sees an item for sale in the States at $76 and then there's $17.98 free post, all of a sudden Mr. Customer has got to do a calculation. They think, oh crikey, how much does that work out at? And they've got to sit there doing a calculation. Whereas if they see the same product being sold by me, and let's say I'm doing it at $96, they haven't got to work out the calculation. Free post, $96. Coming from the UK, they'll do it. Free post from the UK, it's $96. Oh, right, I'll have that one. And they go for it. So all you're doing is using it all to your advantage. The fact that most people are lazy when they buy, and they can't sit there and work the math out very well. So yeah, they they just go and they just buy it. So selling internationally free post is brilliant. You just add it onto the same as you do in the UK. You get a quote, and then when you've got your sale, assuming that it's coming out of you're dispatching it yourself, then you'll go and you'll search for the best price. And I've had it before now where there's been some special deals on with one of the parcel companies, and that special deal has meant that I've saved 10% on the price of the postage. So that works really, really well. So I make even more money on it. Occasionally it might cost me a couple of quid more because the exchange rates changed, but hey ho, you're going to win and you're going to lose. Another company here for you, exportsuk.com. Let's get out of that. You can see here they've got all sorts of things that they'll be selling off, and you can purchase them at whatever price, you know, silly. So here you go, RRP. I'm not sure what this is. RRP 14,000. You can buy the lot for £1,350. It's obviously some sort of hair thing or another. And there you go, some stuff here. No RRP, 5,000 kitchenware, crepe bandages, £1,260. Sorry, £1,260,000 rather. You can have them for £60,000. There's a deal for you, eh? Just over £1 million worth of 60 grand. Check your market. Maybe one. Could you actually, when you see a deal like that, and you think, oh, that's a lot, who can you go to and say, look, I can do this, or can we? Go and have a look at it. Talk to other people. There may be 3 or 4 people that would invest in a deal like that. And again, our price 60,000. Okay, can I have them for 30, please? So, you know, somebody would look to possibly let it go and work. Let it go. What we got there? RRP £800 looks like a motor. I'm trying to work it out. 800,000, 40,000, 180,000, 7,500. Not sure what that is. Let's have a quick look. 110 pallets. Oh, tiles. So there we are. That could be something that you might want to look at. Quite nice and heavy to send out, but 110 pallets of tiles, 7,500. Retail price RRP is 180,000. So you're buying those extremely cheap, and the chances are you could get a better deal than that if you go to them. So again, it's a case of going to these people, having a look, and seeing what you've actually got in there. That's obviously looks like a range that they've got in there. So export UK. There's loads of them. Go and pick up the Trader magazine out of WH Smith's and you will find even more. Do a little bit more research on the internet and you will find more. What's that? £24,000, 4,000. That looks interesting. I'm not sure what it is. It is an awning. Okay, there's some nice awnings there. Hmm. What is it? 50 of them. Folding awnings. Look quite good. 24 grand. Big things to send out. Fine. Go on a parcel company, probably 15 to 20 quid in the UK. 4 grand, possibly a bit too much on 4 grand. 50 units, I possibly want those for about 2.5. So if they would go for 2.5, especially when you look at the boxes, let's try and get back. Shot of the box there. Some of the boxes look a little bit, um, you know, they're not looking as if they're in the best. Plus, I've got to move them for wherever the location is, bring them to me. But I would probably go in on that and say, well, I'm at 2.5, which is what, £50 a piece, and they were a retail value of about 500. So I'd probably be able to sell those at 2 to 250 quite nicely. And this time of year may be okay. You might be looking and saying, well, can we just about do it? You might even get them for 30 quid a piece. They're big, bulky things. A lot of people will walk away from this because they'll look at the size of the box, the shape of the box, and to be quite honest, if I'd got 4 grand sitting around at the moment, I wouldn't be wanting to pay 4 grand, but I'd put 2.5 grand into those. Yeah, absolutely. 2.5 grand, buy those, bring them into a warehouse, get them shipped out, get them online, get them selling. And if I could get them for around about 50 quid a piece, and I can churn them out at 199, on the basis that perhaps, what is there, 50 of them, perhaps 2 of them are no good. If I could get them out at 199 from £500, put them in a sale, 199 to clear, why not? Yeah, I'd be quite happy to look at that as a deal. So, it's not always looking at what is the nice sexy items on there. You sometimes need to look at the odd, weird, wonderful and unusual. And yeah, why not try and buy £1 million worth of stock for £60,000? Why not? Talk to people. You never know what you could do. So that's another one there. Boffer is another one. I'm not that keen on Boffer. These people tend to sell them in small lots, and what you tend, there's the odd good deal in here, but you tend to find that 16 ceramic turtle wall hanging decorations. It's these are really bottom end of the market lines. They're penny lines. There's not a lot of money in them, but it's still worth looking through the site occasionally to see what they've got. You might just drop on a bargain. It's always worth looking. It's always worth looking, but it's not one of my favorite sites. Gem Wholesale Company I've done a lot with in the past. You can go and they do a lot of different things. These guys take a lot of stuff, sort of Argus, end of line Argus. So you come up to the end of a particular season, and Argus have said, right, we've got 50 of those left in the country. They just job them off and get rid. They don't want them. So they bring them in, and you can normally buy at a good price. Now, when I started dealing with these guys a number of years ago, I used to buy a lot of the nursery stuff. Now, the nursery stuff that I used to buy off them, uh, nursery goes extremely well. And I used to buy it at around about 7 to 10% of retail. And you can see there's a lot of people come into the market. I've stopped buying it from them now. To me, it's too expensive. But I used to buy between 7 and 10%. Now they're 18 to 20%, and they've had some stuff up as much as 25%. So you have to look hard and you have to tweak. So there we are. They'll tell you what is in there. and they'll give you the retail price, they'll give you the quantity, and then it's up to you to do your research. But with these guys, the ones that I've preferred from them, rather than the pallets are great if you're starting out. Go to them, have a look around, pick some stuff up, not possibly so much electrical. They did have at one stage, they had an awful lot of, and they've still got a fair bit of exercise and gym type equipment, and that was fairly keenly priced, and a lot of it was brand new, never opened, so you would be able to get some good money there. So £2 worth of stock for £362, 17.5% of its retail value. You can get to see it is all boxed, it's all new, or it looks as if it's all new. It'll tell you if it isn't, and you get an idea of what it is. Dynamix vibro plates. I think the vibro craze is disappearing, isn't it? I don't know. But there you are, you see. You can see what can I sell them for. So you take the information, put it into Google, find out what it's going for. Gem Wholesale, this company is based up in North Wales. I've worked with them and bought an awful lot of them. Excuse me. Container loads are always good. Go and have a look at what you can get. So there you've got £6 worth for £1. That might be a little bit too much for some. What is that? They look quite tasty boxes there. So in stock, view stock list, Conrad recliner corner. So they are chairs of some description by the looks of it. I haven't got a clue what that is there. Let's have a look. 12.5%. Oh, quilts. So air sprung luxury quilted double. So they're obviously mattresses. Okay, don't look like mattresses from here. Perhaps not the easiest things to move about, but you could still sell those. So you've got all sorts of stuff in there, and a load of exercise equipment at 12.5%. So £11,000 worth, £1,300. You're possibly not going to sell everything, but what you've got to do is look and decide what bits you can sell and what you can make some money on. And if it's coming in at 12.5% and you're going to sell it and it's all brand new stuff, and you're going to sell it at 50%, there's margin in there. You can afford to drop a couple of items and make a bit of a loss. But Gem Wholesale, another good place to go where you can get some decent stuff. Now then, white labeling. So what are you going to do? Are you going to look at going and traipsing around the nursery fairs? Absolutely brilliant, no problem if you want to go and do that. That is absolutely great. Superb, go for it. Once you've been round there, perhaps you're thinking to yourself, I really like those products, or you've been to the franchise show, you've gone to the garden show, and you think, wonder what I can buy them at. I wonder if I can go direct. Well, do that. Have a look at white labeling. Basically, white labeling is, and a lot of people don't know what white labeling means. So basically, white labeling is your product in your box with your barcode, with your SKU code, to your design, or it may be a copy, or it may be that you are buying exactly the same product as, I'm going to stick with the garden centres here because this is where I've done most of my white labeling. You're going to buy exactly the same stuff as you get in Dobby's garden centre or the independent garden centres throughout the UK. You're going to get exactly the same product of those, but it's going to be in your box, and it's going to have your reference, and it's going to have your barcode, and it's going to have your SKU code, and you're buying it direct from the factory, or you might have one other person in the food chain, but you have just created yourself a brand new product. And if you're selling on eBay, if you're selling on Amazon, nobody else can sell that product against you because it is yours. So if somebody comes along and they put a copied product or a different product on there, it may be exactly the same product, but because yours is branded as yours, so my stuff was branded as PPP, So anything that was branded PPP, if somebody then went on to Amazon to sell their version of PPP, I could then phone Amazon. No, it's my own brand, it's my own label. There we are. So it would be taken off. Amazon would have to take it off. So that means I maintain my margin. Now, okay, I did actually have a few tweaks on the design, and I would always make sure that there was something slightly different. I have a different color here, might have a different something there. Just have something that was slightly different, so I would differentiate the product ever so slightly. It didn't have to be massively. So it would come in a box with PPP on it, my barcode, which was great because then the box could come into the UK. The barcode and the SKU code were on the box. They were on the outer box and the inner box, which meant they could go straight to fulfillment. I didn't have to have them in my warehouse. They could go straight to fulfillment. Obviously, before I went down the fulfillment route, they used to come into my warehouse. But as soon as I'd gone the fulfillment route, they would go straight to the fulfillment warehouse and they would be booked in automatically. So I could arrange for them to come into the UK and go straight to the distribution point that I want. Absolutely brilliant. So you can find product, and then once you found that product, it's a case of going to somewhere like Alibaba and saying, I want to uh, have this made by this factory. So you might go in and let's have a look at memorial, marble memorial benches. Let's have a look. Let's go pet memorial because we were having a look at pet stuff earlier on. So here we are, pet memorial, and this cedar pets memorial urn. There is something for you if you want to have a look at a few things. This might be a little bit morbid, but there's money here. People will pay to have a memorial urn for their animal, especially in the States as well as the UK. Big opportunity there, big market, not massively. I'm giving you a really good tip here, guys, because this market is not massively catered for because people don't understand it. But you could go in and let's say you found in the States that that white plane was the best selling one. So who's selling that? Okay, so you'll go in here, white plains, ceramic pet memorial urn, and here's all the details about the company. Minimum order quantity, 500 pieces. You can go up to 10,000, up to 1,000 pieces. Supplyability. Now this is where I'm saying about looking at these companies. They can supply up to 500,000 pieces per month. Where are they selling them? All over the world. And you've got some company information in here. So you've got some product details. Go in and have a look. You've got company profile. So you can get to see. So this company, they're using resin, ceramic, terracotta, so they obviously do other things than that. They've got between 51 and 100 people. It's very generic. Export 91 to 100%. So they're mainly export. Gives you the factory size, gives you the location, gives you some information. So you can start to get a feel for who you are looking at. And if there's some feedback, there'd be some feedback in there as well. So you can then contact the supplier. And don't forget, they are looking here, US dollars, 50 cents. And that's for a two-piece for the top and bottom. Well, that's their starting price. That's their advertised price. That is their recommended retail price. So let's see if I copy that and if I put it into Google, let's just see if we can find one very quickly. Well, there's one there from Alibaba. Right, Alibaba. Obviously, I've yeah, there's plenty there from Alibaba. What I want to do is actually, okay, let me quickly go into Amazon. Now this might be too precise a search. Yep, it is. So okay, it's not brought me anything back as that, but there you go. There's something else in there. Um, ceramic dog memorial urn, 12.95 new, um, uh, and that was going to cost 50 cents. What's 50 cents? About 35p, something like that. So you can get the idea that 35p, and you can sell them for around about 12. Um, let's just put in white. So there you go. There's some others there. £27, £29. Okay, they're a little bit more attractive, but just think about it. It's coming in 50 cents, 50 cents, 35p, something like that. You can make some money. You could sell those at a good price and make money on them. Why not? Um, you know, will this let me go back a page? No, it won't. Let's have a look at something else in here. And this is a brilliant market, and it's one I would encourage you to have a look at if you're thinking of getting into things like this. You know, look, memorial wood pet urn for a horse. Crikey, that must be big. But what is that costing you? Uh, US $8 to $18. So anything from £5 to £12 roughly there or thereabouts. Minimum order 500 pieces. Is that something you could sell? I don't know. Probably is. 500 pieces of those. It's not going to cost you too much. And okay, it's a very niche market. Love that term, niche market. Now, when you that can be really good because the competition out there is a little bit lower. Um, so there we are. One there, £36 for an urn there. We're not going to actually find anything for horses by the looks of it. I have picked an odd one for you, but you get my meaning. There is money to be made out there, but there's a standard one there for £36. So on the basis that the one for the horse is going to be dearer, then why not? And you know, you've potentially got a photograph at the front, and you've got all the details there ready to go. A brilliant way of sourcing stock. You've got to find the market. You've got to find the market. You've got to look. And memorial stuff is absolutely brilliant. It is really good market. And not only that, think about this. When you're thinking about your markets, when it's a memorial item, it's an emotional purchase. When you're buying a new television, that is a price-driven purchase. In other words, a memorial item, something's happened, you're in an emotional state, you're buying it for an emotive reason, you're not buying it for the reason of I've got to have it at any cost, and I'm going to search the internet until I get the cheapest price possible, or I'm going to use the Android phone or the iPhone to do a barcode scan and actually find it at its cheapest price. What you're actually doing is you're selling something on an emotional basis. People will pay more money for something on an emotional basis. They'll pay an awful lot more money for it. So you can go out there and you can get some really, really, really good stuff. And of course, if you're bringing this in, and let's say you're bringing it in and you want to sell it in the UK, Australia, United States, and let's say you are just going to order, well, that one is a minimum of 16 pieces. Let's say you're going to order 48 pieces. Let's say that you send 16 to Australia, you send 16 to America, and bring 16 into the UK. And they all go to fulfillment houses. The ones that come in the UK go to Amazon, for argument's sake. The ones that go to America go to Amazon. Maybe eBay in America, use their fulfillment service in America. and in Australia, it could be eBay or one of the independents. But you send them out there so you can sell them in all three continents. So you can split your load. You can split your load nicely, and you can sell them everywhere. So you look at something like that, and is it is it something? So pewter brass earn $10 to $20. Now, if you are going to go onto Alibaba, Alibaba is massive. When you put your details in there, what I would suggest you do is you set yourself up with another email address, because when you register with Alibaba, you are going to get emails. And when you're looking at things, you're going to get a lot of emails. So if you set yourself up with a new email address, then all of those emails can be diverted into that other email address rather than clogging up your inbox, which is more important to you in getting orders out, dealing with customer service inquiries, dealing with other things like that. So I would always suggest with any of these, set yourself up a new email, and it may be buyers at whatever your business name is, or it may be a Gmail account or something like that. But set yourself up with a separate email, so all of those, and then you can go in whenever you want to and have a look to see what it is you need to look at when you are in the buying mode, as it were. So there we are. Look at that one. Let's have a quick look at that there. Just very quickly, 200 pieces. Right, you're going to have to email them to get the latest price. So you come out of that one. They're not putting their price on there. Bit of a pity that, from our point of view. Whoops. Let's see if that one is. But there's loads of product out there. So you can go. So there you are. Very, very, very detailed looking one. $15 to $30. And you can go in and 25 pieces. Minimum order. Supplyability 500 pieces per month. So again, these could be going all over the country. And in fact, if you want to, there is no reason why you couldn't send all your stock out from China. So you could buy it in China and then send it out. Obviously, you're going to have to deal with import duty for all the countries that you're dealing with, but fair enough. That's something you just got to look into and deal with to make sure you're covered on price. So there we are. That's Alibaba. And then obviously, you want to look at China. Have a look at some of their trade fairs. And if you are serious about buying from China, I would definitely suggest a trip out to one of their trade fairs and go and have a look. And you know, they are absolutely superb events, as you'll see from a couple of the very quick videos. And I'm going to use this time now to sort of wrap up a little bit. I think that tonight you have got some brilliant information, and it's been extremely good to actually have a different look at where you can go in the world to send things out. And you've got to be competitive. You've got to keep your finger on the pulse. You've got to know what is going on. What I'm finding with a lot of the people that are coming to me, the eBay people and the Amazon people that are growing businesses, doing rather well, they started from where I did when I started, when I sold my first product. The first month I took just over 300 quid. And I thought, that was brilliant, this works. And this is back in 2007 or something like that. And then it quickly went from doing 300 quid to all of a sudden I turned over 1.6 million. How did that happen? And you know, I've turned over millions and millions and millions since then. And I've loved every minute of doing it. And there's been some high points and there's been some low points. I've made money here, I've lost money there. I've bought direct from China, I've bought from importers, I've bought from agents, I've bought out of liquidated stock. I've sold all sorts of things. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how many different things that I have sold on eBay, Amazon, Play.com, my own web stores, and it's phenomenal, it's brilliant. And that is why I love telling people on how you can actually do some of these things, how you can actually go out there and work. But your supply chain is just as important as your customer service chain to the end user. You've got to understand how the market is moving. And at the moment, you have got to understand that the market is moving very, very competitively. The world is getting smaller. The internet is getting bigger. The number of people shopping online is getting even bigger. And in emerging countries, as you know, I've already said, I'm living over in France at the moment. I'm spending a few weeks every month here in France working from a base that I've got here and coming over to the UK when I need to. And for working in France, France are not as far ahead as they are in the UK. So the French market, guys, is wide open. There are people just coming into the French market, and the French people are only just beginning to start to use the online systems. They're not all there yet. They're just starting to use the online systems. So the French market is way open. The Spanish market is way open. The Italian market is way open. They are massively, massively open to do business. You need to expand into those other areas as well. So, you need to look at these. And this is 2014's event in China. Look at it. 2,036 exhibitors, 107,000 yeah, buyers, potential buyers there. Look at the scale and the size of that. That is a place to go and find product. But you do need, some of their trade events go on for up to 2 weeks. So you need to go out there and have I'm saying not out there, you need to get out there and you need to decide which product you want to go for, what you want to white label, what you want to do as your own product, or what joint ventures you want to get involved in, or can you find some that will drop ship? Can you buy in China? Can you put it in a fulfillment house? And can you just advertise it and send it all over the world? Yes, you can. You need to work on the logistics. You need to know how much to charge in the United States. You need to know if the United States have got to have import duty on that product. You need to know what the cost is going to be to fly it from China to the United States, and then you put your sale in there. There is no reason why you can't buy the product over in China and go to the point where you don't move it until it is sold. You warehouse it in China. Why not? These trade events over there are absolutely fantastic. Everybody that I know that has gone over there always comes back and they're totally exhausted, but they're totally, totally switched on and away and absolutely buzzing with excitement with some of the new products. Some of it becomes very much the same. They're just going out, building relationships, and they're bringing in another load of products yet again. Uh, you know, but you need to go and look at the local trade events. If you're near to reasonably sized towns, just go to your local websites, local Chamber of Commerce, find out what trade shows are going on there. Then go and look at Earl's Court, Harrogate, NEC, Manchester, Glasgow, places like that. Also then Frankfurt, massive trade shows over in Frankfurt a couple of times a year. And there's trade shows over here in France. There's trade shows right throughout Europe. There's trade shows in Ireland. Decide what products you want to look at. Don't forget to ask the relevant questions. Who is your biggest customer? Who buys product from you? Who are you selling to? Are you selling direct to Amazon? Are you selling to Tesco's? Are you selling to B&Q? Are you selling to Carrefour? Are you selling to Matalan? Are you selling to Dunelm? Are you selling to the Range? Who are your customers? What do I have to do to get the best price? And what is the best price? What is it that I've got to do? Is it minimum quantity? Is it an annual spend? What is it that I have got to do to get the very, very best price? And if they tell you you've got to buy a minimum of 500 units, go out and have a look and see if you can sell 500 units and sell 500 units in a short enough period of time so that you can actually make money from it, not just sell units. Go out there and see what you can actually achieve. And it may be a case that you have somebody else who, perhaps you've got somebody who's got a different business and you say, right, I'll sell over here, you sell over there. I can sell on Amazon, you can sell on eBay, but we will sell them together. And then you bring them in your own box as white labeled under your brand. So you create your own brand. So you create a brand as I did, PPP. And then you put your own barcode on it. And if you don't know how to use a barcode, you'll find out when you go into the brand new the brand new membership site, and you'll see the video, which is purely on barcodes. And then you put your own SKU code on it, and then you have it sent direct to Amazon or whichever other fulfillment house that you want to go to. Absolutely fantastic, brilliant. I think that is superb that you can do all of that and you can make money. Or you can go and have a look and you can see what is available to you by using auction news, buying the stuff that's in liquidation, buying the stuff that's other people have uh, gone into liquidation with, buying it extremely cheap. Look at the jobbers, look at the gem wholesales and the other people in there. Go and buy the trader and see who's advertising in the trader. In fact, don't bother buying it, just go to WH Smith's and stand there and read it, or go online and do it online. There is so much opportunity out there for you to actually buy. You just need to take that plunge, leap of faith, make sure you do your research, scan the barcodes, use your tablet, use your devices, and get the information. Tonight has been an extremely lengthy session. I hope that that has given you some stuff to think about and to go away with so that you can actually move forward. If you've got any questions, email them to me. You've got my email contact details. Give me a call if you want to. Drop me a message on Skype. You've got my phone number, which is a UK number, which is linked directly to Skype. Just make contact, and over the next couple of weeks you will get some stuff from me which will be about the new membership site, and that is something I'm really excited about, and I will really look forward to receiving your thoughts and views on that. So autumn fair coming up very soon at the NEC. Get in for that, book yourself in and reserve. I say reserve, get your tickets coming through for the spring fair as well. You've got all these trade events. Look at where you want to go. Go to the trade events, get some ideas, ask questions, look at the stock that's available, look at the bankrupt stock that's available. Go and buy some of those crate bandages. Go and buy £1 million worth of stock for 60,000. I don't know what you can make on them, what you can sell them for. I don't know if there's rules and regs behind them. You can go and find out. Look at those awnings, absolutely brilliant. £2.5 grand. I'd invest that in those straight away. Me personally, I'd be more than happy. So there we are, folks. That has been a very long 3-hour 20-minute or thereabout session. So I've overrun by 20 minutes, and I am so grateful for you staying with me on this, and you will be able to pick up the replay. My name's Andrew Whitfield, How to Sell Online Limited, website www.h2so.org. Thank you very much and happy selling, and I really look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye for now.